Motivation. Motivation. I don't even know if people can hear me. So this is test. Test one, test two, test three. ABC. ABC. Um, if somebody's watching, if you can hear me, give me a response. Let me see if I can test myself. Maybe I'll get the quick reverberation right back. Simply Deep, can you hear me, brother? That's all I need to know. If you can hear me, it's good to go. That it's on and cracking. Like donkey tongue. I said donkey tongue. How about tell the girls I got a donkey tongue? No, I'm joking. Hey, yada, what's going on? It's going to be on like Donkey Kong cracking the barrel on Mario. Yeah. Oh, so let me just dive on in. Both men and women, or anything else that you want to throw out there, because I know we got people that are they don't want to be called a certain gender. No matter what in life, you're going to get into situations where you're going to find someone else attractive, and they won't feel the reciprocal for you. It would happen. It's going to happen one day. You could be in a relationship, situationship, marriage, and the person that you are in that connection, that romantic endeavor, and that love Jones, and that love situation wants to leave you. Did I get punched in the face? Where did I get punched? No, I didn't get punched in the face. Or an eye. I just got puffy eyes, baby. She said, "Did you get punched? Did I get punched in the gut?" No. But you got me off topic. I'm gonna get back into my soliloquy. Because nobody can respond to me. So soliloquy in my diatribe. Everybody has to deal with, well, I'm assuming everybody, rejection. And one thing that I always find funny is how people deal with rejection. Is it easy for people to accept losing in the art of love? Is it difficult, or is it always arduous and um, challenging? Oh, Sister D, Kite, good morning. I hope that you are feeling fantastic, and I'm honored by your presence. I hope that you have an enjoyable experience here with me. And as you know, um, if anybody wants to join in, talk about you deal, how do you deal with rejection in love and relationships, I would love to hear it. Um, I'll tell you about me. Um, I think I deal with it well. I probably deal with it bad internally, but externally, um, because I feel love is free. Love should never be possessive. And I always think that a love should not be reciprocal. Now, I'm not diving into what do you call it? The ideology of love, because most people with the imaginings of how they want love to be and how you envision it, of course you want reciprocity, but you've had that feeling like, oh, I just love Michael. Oh, I love Michael. And Michael said, I love you. I love you too. But physically he will never give it to you. But that's so but you dream of having Michael's babies, and you know uh, I whoever you are, you dream of being with Beyonce, but she's with Jay-Z. I mean, she's an example. So does love really have to be reciprocal? But how do you deal with it when you want somebody and they don't want you? And that has to be like one of the most painful things. I'm joking about it, but truthfully, I feel empathy in my soul. I never want somebody to go through that situation where uh, you want somebody and they don't want you. Now, going somewhere with this, um, in our society in general, when it comes to connection between men and women, it's been taught that men should approach women, and a lot of men deal with have to deal with rejection, but there's a lot of men that deal with rejection horribly. So from my perspective, um, approaching women can become very, very anxiety laden for men because they don't want to be rejected. And then when they do get rejected, they become so disrespectful. They become so, if you forget you then. I don't like you anyway. So I would love to hear other people's um in the chat. Anybody who joins, just tell me your thoughts on dealing with rejection. For me, I always my anybody who knows me, my whole thing is to tell people just to be oblivious. Try to be oblivious. I'm not saying that you're not going to feel pain, but if somebody disagrees with you, if they find they disapprove, they look at you and say, "Oh, Charles, oh." What happened? Somebody punch you in the eye. I'm joking. Yeah, that was funny. You just got to deal with it, and you got to say, you know what? Um, for me, to be oblivious and be like, you know what? Well, I guess wasn't what you were looking for, and move on. But it's hard for people because you want the love, and I see you over there. You're so beautiful, and I'm going to buy you some flowers, and I want to hold your hand and sing Beatles songs to you. Oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to make you feel special. So when you don't want to feel the same to me, that's really painful, and the emotion can kick in. The emotion can kick in. Let me do a side thing. This is one of my favorite hoodies. I watched it so much it's starting to tear up, but I still love it. How weird until it just falls apart. The zipper breaks. I'm gonna go get it fixed because I don't accept rejection. I'm holding on to my hoodie because homie don't play that anyway. So all right. I don't think Black women should be rude about rejecting men. Thank you, Yada. I totally agree with that. I don't want anybody to feel pain, but you know what? I'm going to say something wrong, and it's not really wrong, but to me, this is just my perception. I perceive a lot of ladies, um, instead of feeling flattered when a man approaches them, they kind of feel like, "Why are you approaching you? You approaching me?" And even though they may not verbally be abusive or demonstrative, um, due to our imaginings as men, we take it as just by not responding to us or blowing us off, we take it as like getting hit. And to ladies, most likely, they probably don't think, "Oh, I wasn't rude," but just like rolling your eyes and not engaging in a conversation with a man, it can be really painful. And I know men do it to women too, but I'm just using the men right now because I think way more men approach women than women approach men. And I tell you, I've had some ladies. It's gonna sound funny, but I've had ladies, observe me and give me their number, and if I didn't call them back, I wonder how that would make them feel. Um, Me, like I said, I'm oblivious. So every lady that gave me their number, and if it was ever phony or I didn't call or I called and they didn't answer, um, it hurt a little bit. I mean, if it's possible, but because I want all the ladies to love me. I feel bad when I'm trying to talk to a lady and I think when they see me, they can see the animation in my face, and they say, "Okay, he's not evil, he's not mean." But if they just hear my voice and me, I'm inquisitive, so I ask a million questions. They be like, "Why are you asking me these questions? Why? Why are you?" Not that I've never did plenty of fish any of that online dating stuff. But what if I was? I'm like, "Hey, are you busy right now? Have you been married? Why are you asking me this? Why are you asking my age?" when you do that to me, I feel rejected. I just want to know your age, so to making conversation, because if I was looking for marriage, I would want to know how old you are, because of my primary reason for getting married would be to have children, and maybe you because you look beautiful. I can't tell that you're 55 and you're past menopause and you can't have babies. So I'm just asking these questions, but you might, it might be abrasive. So it's I'm sorry, but that's the problem. So it's kind of hard. I know it's hard being a woman, but it's hard to be a man because we don't know what we're supposed to say sometimes. Should I be like, yo, baby, yo? Or should I be like, "Excuse me, miss, may I talk to you today?" Like, I say whatever because I figure it's going to work. But you might say the wrong thing, and the lady might like your style, and she may not be like Yada said. She may not politely be like, you know what, I'm single, but I just don't find you attractive. See, that's what me. If you're gonna reject me, I'd rather you be straightforward. Like, listen, I'm flattered that you talk to me, but you're not really my style. you're not 6'3". You're cool. You're 6 foot, whatever. Or I'm really 5'2". Just want you guys to know that. But I don't like 5'2" men, and your gap tooth is unattractive, and I see the plaque and the cheese in between your teeth, honey. We can't get together. So if people were to tell me that, I'd be like, you know what? Well, thank you for your honesty. I think I need to brush my teeth a little bit more. I need to dodge when people start swinging at me and hit me in the face and the eye. I gotta dodge it so I don't look puffy. And maybe I need to put some better cologne on, and that just may get me in the door. That just may make you want to talk to me. I got to start dodging and weaving better and be more Casanovic with my words. I gotta be like, baby, you're so beautiful. And I'll just be honored. I'll just be honored if you talk to me for like 1 second. You don't have, you know what? We could go on a date, and I'll pay for everything. And you don't even have to give me a hug, and you don't have to hold my hand. Just let me take a picture and look at you and comment on your Instagram picture. I'm joking. But anyway, my silliness is too much sometimes, I know. But I would love for people to join in. I hope that this is Neon Eyes' topic. Let me email her, and hopefully, if she has a chance, she'll join me, and maybe Nikki would join me, or anybody else who wants to join me, because I can always go on and just do straight rambles. I can just ramble, and I can ramble about rejection, and I can turn more serious. Why so serious? Like the Joker. But yeah, I think that first, this is my advice to anyone: always be honored and humbled for anybody who approaches you and tries to connect with you in a romantic way. And the reason that I say that is because a lot of people will never get that opportunity. Will never get that that option. Will never be selected. And let me show you guys. I don't even know. Okay, yeah. See, something bit me here, and it's a bruise. So I'm like, I always have some type of insect repellent, even though you guys can do smell. You're like, oh, you sound like citronella. He'll reject me. You sound like citronella and eucalyptus. Yeah, because I got that sweet blood, and I'm trying to reject the insects, but they keep pursuing me. They keep trying to sting me. I gotta stop them, baby. I gotta stop biting me. But insects don't respect. I try to. The ants don't accept rejection. Oh my gosh! When it gets hot, they just keep. I'll be like, ants. I got raid in here. We don't care about no raid. You can't get us out of here. I'm joking. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a big. I really want people to feel great and laugh, and I wish that people would, instead of getting offended when people approach you for any type of romantic interaction, you would just say, you know what, I'm flattered. I would rather you tell me the truth though. I'm a mode one type of brother. You're like, what is he talking about? Well, this is the commercial. This is the infomercial. Mode one is the art of being smooth and direct with ladies. So its purpose is to defeat manipulation from anyone. So if a man finds a woman attractive and he knows he doesn't want to have a long-term relationship, he approaches her as such. Listen, sweetheart, I date 3 or 4 women, but I find you extremely beautiful and I want to connect with you in a romantic way, and maybe I can exchange pleasure with you. And now you know what type of dude you're dealing with. You can label him a player, you can label him a no good dirty guy, or you can say, oh, you know what, you're extremely attractive, Shamar Moore, and I will engage in this casual situation with you because you're not misleading me, and at least you're being honest. You're not wasting my time. That way the guy doesn't have to go and go on several dates because he knows he doesn't really want to connect with you, and he probably doesn't enjoy you for your social greatness, which is probably fantastic. And that's why I advocate that, because if a dude's looking for marriage, he'll approach a woman like, yo, you look like you should be my future wife. I want to spend some time with you and get to know you. If you find me unattractive and I'm that type of guy you would marry, or you don't know, let me not waste my time. And that's my commercial for Mode One. Now, if you want to know more about it, look up the author Alan Roger Curry. However, I will say this: the book is non-explicit, but he has a YouTube page, he can be extremely explicit. And for the people that are virgin ears like myself, I don't use profanity. No. If you want to know more about him, just understand he can be extremely explicit and may be offensive to someone. I never want to offend. No, never me, because I don't want to be rejected. Anyway, I'm being silly with that. Like I said, homie doesn't play that. Oh, so Anyway, I'm all over the place. I hope people are feeling great. Um, uh, I got to be a little bit better. That's right. Tell the truth, so I will know exactly what I'm dealing with, and that's what I believe with everybody. You should always tell people what you're dealing with all the time. Don't mislead people. Don't use them. Don't for the men, if any men are watching me, you know, I know some of y'all don't have the same moral code or ethical view as me. So some of you dudes that are married would never say, "Hey, I'm married, but I'm looking for a number two woman." You're never going to say that, but you should. But you're not. And I understand that. A lot of you people have been really listening to Tom Likas, and you want to avoid rejection. And there's some people on YouTube that I'm not going to talk bad about, but they say, go ahead and tell them anything, lie to them. And I understand all is fair in love and war, which I don't agree with, because even, you see, I'm a military guy. We have a code of conduct, and it should be a code of conduct with everything. Whatever you interact with anyone, you should try to, okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent, disrespect must be stated. So I don't know that I'm being disrespectful until you let me know that I'm being disrespectful, just like harassment. Now, there are some obvious red lights depending on the culture and where you come from. It's obvious red lights. However, if you find that you don't like me staring at you and you don't say, hey, can you please stop staring at me? You can't say I harassed you, and you can't say I was being disrespectful, because to me, it may seem natural, but to you, it could be disrespectful and it could be not the best. But man, my problem is I feel so great. I feel so happy. I'm a person that if it's just one person that is here, I'm going to feel good. And if it's 10 people here, I feel just as great, because nobody ever has to pay attention to me. Who am I? I'm just another person just like you, except I'm extremely silly. And I like to ask a lot of questions. I should call myself, I do. I'm the question king. I don't know anything. I want to know a lot. And because I don't know a lot, I'm always asking questions, and I try to never assume. So, I mean, I do make assumptions, but I try my best to never, ever, 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 nope, not at all, to assume, because I think I'm the dumbest, dumbest, well-read person on the planet Earth, because I read a lot. But as soon as I read something, I forget it, man. I just looked at a book, time bound, and I was like, oh, did I read this? And I looked, and I said, oh, I finished it already, and I forgot that I read it. See, that tells you how stupid I can be. I can be dumber than the dumb is dumb. I can be so stupid that just talking to me sometimes, you'd be like, what the hell is he saying? He's all over the place. Shouldn't he supposed to be talking about rejection? See, right now, I'm sending some links to people that, I want to join, but they may reject me. And I mean, I don't even know they're rejecting me because I'm stupid. I may think, they are really into me. I could think, hey, I'm oblivious. You really wanted to talk to me. You really wanted to be a part of my team and my party. See, I'm the person you got to hit in the head with a bat. Like, listen, stop talking to me. Gotta use that extra. You ever watch the Alien series where they ate these people as food? I'm rejecting you. I don't want to make it sound like demonic. You get the point I'm making. I'm just saying. I don't even know. I'm oblivious. I'm telling you, I'm oblivious. I'm oblivious to, like, right now. You guys be thinking, Charles, what are you saying? That's how oblivious I can be. But anyway, I have invited some people, and hopefully they tune in. But me and on rejection, you can say, no, get away. It's like, a salesman that come to your door, or sorry, Jehovah Witnesses. I wonder, see, if you want, that's what, they should, this is learn how to be rejected. Take the Jehovah Witness 10-month course. And at the end, you will know how to be rejected. Because I wonder how many on Saturdays and Sundays, boy, they get the door slammed on their face all the time. So they can know how to do rejection. I've come to teach you how to get to the bling. Let me tell you about getting to the Lord. Don't you want to get to the Lord? No, thank you. Slam! I'm slamming the door in their face in a minute. And I don't mean to be rude, but no, thank you. Oh, just be rude. No, I'm joking. Oh, man. So how is everybody doing this morning? I want somebody to say something so I can reject you. See, hey, Gavin, that's a pleasure to see you here. I'm going to teach you how to be rejected. Gavin, leave. I'm joking. I want you to stay. But I just want you to give a dose of rejection. And how do you handle 11 and rejection. I don't want people, truthfully, I never want to reject anybody. I want everybody to be included. I want everybody to feel a part of the team. I want everybody to feel special. I'm never really trying to attack anybody, but I know that sometimes I can be intrusive because I ask so many questions. I ask you, how are you feeling today? And Sister Dekai Yada, I want to know how all of you guys are feeling today. I hope that everything is going great with you. I hope you guys are all feeling loved and special. I hope that you find me entertaining. I hope that I don't offend you. But if I do, understand I'm doing it to make you laugh. I'm more of a silly guy. And I'm telling you, today I'm practicing trying not to be so foul mouthed. I've done a couple of videos and I did like no cursing, but I want to. It's in the back of my head. It's like it. Like, yeah. I'm saying all these words. Uck. See, what that F? F uck. You. Sorry. F uck you. She. T. Be itching. I'd be itching. I'd be itching. Oh, I'm sorry. I just turned stupid. Because I want people to feel great. And I don't really take anything serious. And I'll tell you this, man, I love people. And anytime I hurt people, I really feel sad. That's where my emotion and my empathy comes from. Because I never want to bring pain to people. And I know sometimes just asking people questions or asking them why to do that, it can be annoying. And I got some friends, they say, Charles, you make it so difficult. You just got to analyze everything. And I say, well, I'm sorry, that's the way my brain works. But if you let me know that I'm bringing you pain, I'll stop. And tears come in my eye. I'm really boo-hooing, really, but I'm feeling too great to let my tear flow. But I can let it flow, just like I'm Tony Braxton. Let it flow, baby. Somebody's on here. You gotta hit the mute. Who's that? Let me go.
Yo, Charles.
Yo, Big L.
Yeah, what's good? What's good?
You got the YouTube going on. You gotta turn the mic off on YouTube app, because it's not. Say something now.
Yeah,
It's
can you hear
still.
me?
So you got
Oh,
the YouTube play. Just close the YouTube app. Okay, there you go. Now, what's going on, brother?
Oh yeah, I had my headphones in. That's why.
Okay, now I can hear you. Oh, watch out now. You gonna? Man, oh, look at this guy. Let me hear him. Lady, she's 6. How tall are you? Like 6'3"? I'm putting you on a dating profile. I'm putting you on a dating profile. So the topic today is about how do you deal with rejection when it comes to love and relationship. You can still hear an echo, but it's not bad, so we're gonna deal with it.
All right. Man, everybody's different, man. Like, rejection, it's a hard pill to swallow, man. Like, I think that's for just about any and everybody, because nobody want to be told no, and that comes with any form of anything. Me on love and rejection, man. I think rejection really causes a lot of people like to miss out on a lot of opportunities in life and like relationship wise, you know what I'm saying? Because that fear, it's a real thing, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people run away from things that they're scared of, you know what I'm saying? And it's as simple as saying, "Hey, hello, how you doing?" You know, what's the worst a no can do to you? You know, not that much damage, but getting still, it's almost like jumping in the ocean to some people. You know, so me, I would rather not go out of my way and get rejected. But you know what I'm saying? Like I have problems like just getting away from women. So you know what I'm saying? Like I wish it was like that for some of them. Like you know what I'm saying? Just being intimidated because it gets overwhelming at sometimes, man. But yeah, like how you feel about it?
I feel. Hopefully, you have no. See, I'm trying to get rid of this echo. I don't know where it's coming from, but when you were talking, there was no echo, and now it's an echo from me, and I'm like, how is that happening?
Oh,
I'm trying to see if I got any other tabs open, but do you have the YouTube app open on your phone?
let me see. Yeah, I got the app.
Close the app, the YouTube app.
Okay. Matter of fact, I got
Or
a lot
mute
of
it.
apps running. Let me close them. What about now?
I don't. Yeah, I still hear echo.
Still there?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you got headphones? I don't know. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to figure out because I don't want that echo to be annoying. I don't want it to be like, oh, because normally it doesn't happen. I do the same way every time, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Mm.
And it wasn't happening before you got on, so I'm assuming it's coming from your phone. I'm assuming,
Yeah.
but it's weird.
Matter of fact, man, come to think about it, man. I remember like back in high school, man. Woo, back in high school, man. It was this girl on the cheerleader squad, man. Built up the nerves, you know what I'm saying, and asked her. And I got turned down in front of not even that many people, but you know what I'm saying. A brother just broke out in just sweating profusely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It just you know what I'm saying. It gives you like a real uncomfortable feeling. Like, oh man, I just put myself all the way out there. You know what I'm saying? You declined on me. So it's sometimes it could be a tough pill to swallow, especially when you're attracted. You know what I'm saying, to somebody. Nobody ever want to be told no to the person they attracted to. You know?
totally agree.
Hell
Um,
yeah, man.
yeah, this is interesting, man. I just echo. We gonna act like we rapping. Yeah, I'm gonna with the voice like Charles is the man, man. Better watch out, cause I do it like I don't know.
Oh, you hearing it like that?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But what I think, okay, I'm gonna try to overlook the echo. Um, you know what? I'm so forgetful that I can't remember being rejected. I can't. I know I've been rejected. I just don't remember what it's like because I forget. I'm like a professional sports guy. Uh, he gonna make like Kobe could miss a million shots in a row. Think he gonna make the next one. That's how I feel like when I talk to every woman on the planet Earth. I feel like she
Mm.
made this 5 minutes ago. I forgot to come right back. Like, hey, baby, how you doing? You're beautiful. And that's you. I never met you before. We met a second ago. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I don't think I don't think anybody wants to get rejected, but you should treat people how you want to be treated. So if a woman finds me
Yeah.
attractive, I'm gonna try to be as humble and as cool as possible if I don't want to connect with her romantically. But I'm the type of person that if a woman is extremely cool, like her approach, I will try to maintain some type of friendship and connection with somebody else if we don't have that spiritual connection. Man,
Right,
Miguel,
right.
we're a double. Let's just keep it going. For now, I'm just gonna do it the normal way. Double Charles. Echo. Charles.
Double Charles.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Charles on the double. Yeah, but yeah, I most definitely feel that too. Yeah, because yeah, a lot of people they just don't care about people feelings sometimes, man. And like you just never know, man. That rejection, depending on how the person got rejected, man, could just turn their whole life upside down. You know, so I most definitely feel you on that. Like, cause I've been given offers by, whew, Lord knows, some booger wolves. But you know what I'm saying. I treat them how you know what I'm saying, how I would want to be treated. You know what I'm saying. If I was approaching a girl and she thought I looked like a booger wolf, I wouldn't want her like get your you know what I'm saying, get your ugly ass away from me, boy. You know what I'm saying. I would want her to, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, thanks for the, you know what I'm saying, the offer, but you know what I'm saying, no thank you, something like that. That I could take that. But females nowadays, oh, especially like black women and some Latino women, you know what I'm saying? They be trying to blast you, bro. Like you come in, hey, beautiful, how you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Can I get your number? Hell no! Like, whoa! Now you got 10 other people looking back. You know what I'm saying? They didn't got brought into the whole rejection. So now it's an audience. So yeah, man, it could get out of hand sometimes and just have people like totally in a shell, depending on the type of person they are. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I feel like you, man. Like you said with Kobe, like chick reject me. I'm like, yeah, all right, on to the next. Let me go. I gotta keep on flourishing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But and that's just how you gotta play it, man. Like America been desensitized, man, so much that it's ridiculous, man. Like it be killings and everything going on live TV and people laugh and stuff like that. So you just gotta some people take that into equation too. Like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people out here laughing, motherfuckers dying. Like, a motherfucker clown me. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
I get out here, you know what I'm saying, approach the wrong person, because these women be heartless.
Oh man, I know you coming
They be
through, but
heartless.
men be heartless too.
Oh yeah, guaranteed, guaranteed. They go both ways, 50-50.
We gonna speak from the same perspective because we men. I can't wait till some ladies join. But one thing that I noticed about the ladies, and I'm gonna keep this is not to ever attack ladies at all, but a lot of ladies will post a lot of stuff on Instagram. You put, you know, you're doing I'm look at my fantastic body pictures out there and wearing a little bit of nothing, and then when a dude approaches you by looking at your pictures, like, damn, you so hot with that big old juicy rump. You're offended.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But you're the
yeah,
one putting yourself out there like that. I'm you shouldn't approach every woman the same. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying
yeah,
they it's kind of like you see about these athletes that kind of get at ladies in the DM. They be like, hey, why don't you come up to my game? And she goes,
yeah,
look at
yeah,
me. He got at me. LeBron James, I'm too good for you, LeBron James. I'm worth like not even $20,000, but shame of you talking to me.
yeah, yeah.
He didn't even say, I want to get with you physically. He just said, hey, you know what? Don't you come to the game? Seem like you would like it. Oh, but he's trying.
Mm-hmm.
Now you jumping to conclusions. Oh, he's trying to get into my cooch. I mean, sorry, but that's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
Like, you rejected him off the strength. He maybe you reminded him of somebody. Maybe it was some reason, and that's what's so crazy. So it's like even the average approaches, when it's not even something major, can become difficult.
yeah.
The alarm is going off.
Hold on, Charles. I got a call coming through. I got a
Okay,
call coming through. Hold on
you
one
just want
second.
to hang up and come back. It's cool.
Sorry about that.
Oh, are you taking the call? Yes, he must have took the call because I don't hear him. But I hear me. Anyway, it was getting good. That's my boy Lawrence. Ladies, he's a model. Yeah. Anyway, I find rejection to be, for me, it's like an adventure. To me, I like. You've heard some people say they look forward to rejection. But me, I'm overly, I'm irrationally confident. I don't think anybody's gonna reject me. And if they reject me, I'm like, what? You rejected me? Really? You? I'm joking, like I'm some superstar, but I am. You just haven't heard of me yet. I'm joking, but see, that's what I'm saying. So I think he had the YouTube app open and somehow was, who knows? I don't know, but I can't predict everything. Um, I just want to say hello to Neon Eyes. I hope that you join and any like, hey, Gavin, if you want to join, we could talk. I love to talk to anybody. My page is always open and it's for anyone. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what persuasion. I don't care what you like, what you do, what your religious views are, your political views. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or a Trump hater. I don't care if you're non-political. I don't care if you're agnostic, atheistic. I don't care if you whatever. You can be the biggest Bible thumper on the planet Earth. You're more than welcome to talk about what you feel on my page. And as long as you don't attack someone or like let's say it's two people and they come here and they agree to have a discussion, I will let them go. I won't stop them because to each their own. As anybody who knows, you can come and talk about anything. If we're going to do something that's going to be on an explicit level, I would just put it on the age restriction and let anybody who wants to come on talk. And I think that's the best way to be. I wish I could, because I'm trying to learn. I don't know everything. I'm doing this to learn from other people because how I deal with rejection is different than other people. Some people will never even approach other people to even get into those situations. And I'm thinking, like, for anybody who wants a relationship or to be in a situationship or to be casual lover or whatever you want to be, or even if you want a friendship, you have to make the connection. You can't always worry about if somebody is going to like you or not, because if you do that, that can always stop you from doing what you need to do to get to where you need to go. And I think you should never let fear of something. And a lot of people live in a perpetual state of fear, and that perpetual state of fear stops them from getting to where they need to go. Um, I want people to always, always, always achieve what they're looking for. And if you are looking for just to increase your your financial situation. I'm here to help you. If you're trying to increase your knowledge, I'm here to help you. But I'm not trying to force anything on anyone. And I think that with me, I try my best never to reject people. And the only time I will reject you is when you're trying to force something down my throat. Eat this hamburger. You gonna put your mouth on my private part, boy? No, I'm joking. You can't force that on me. Well, maybe, but I may, that's a little perverted. Sorry, people, perverted. I can't help it. But um, other than that, you can't force anything on me. You really can't force it on me. But I will always listen to what you want and what you believe and how you feel. I will listen. I mean, not agree, but don't accept or don't think that my disagreement is rejection. It's not my non-acceptance of you because I accept you. You will always be accepted. You will always be understood from Charles's world. Charles will listen to you. Charles will say, "You are welcome. You are welcome into my life." See, and that's what it is with me. I'm not trying to alienate anyone. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm just trying to. Somebody's here. Who's here? I haven't looked yet. I'm trying to send an email, so who's on? Who's on the hangout? Who's here? Because I'm scared. I need to know who you are. It's okay. I'll figure it out in a minute. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I can be brave. I can accept the rejection. Whoever's on with me. Oh, Big L, you back? And there's no echo. But it's freezing up, so maybe the phone is messing up. Anyway. Oh, my favorite voice. My favorite Char Willie. Whew, man, see. Now, I think you rejected me. You? Shar reject me. Now, that may be some real pain. But I would forget and come right back at you. I would come right back. I would just come right back. Like, hey, beautiful, what are you doing today? Can I bother you? Would you like some Grey Poupon? Because I got the good mustard. You guys, some people are too young to know Grey Poupon. Yeah, you got mustard, but do you have any Grey Poupon? Go look it up on YouTube. And that's what I got. I got the Grey Poupon. I'm coming with luxury. Now, that's what it is. When you really like somebody, when you really have an affection for somebody, when they dish you, that's some painful stuff. And I want to learn how to deal with it better. How to deal with rejection is I laugh at everything, and I'm oblivious, so I just continue. I fall down, I get right back up, and if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. That's what it is. Now I think I deserve to win there all the time, but I know that somebody's going to want to win. I know that somebody other than me can win, and I can accept that. And that's how I look at it in life. We said if you believe you deserve it, the world serves it. Okay. All right. There's the joke is in there. Just gotta figure it out. I'm stupid. Yesterday, a cool lady got the chat. But it was evil. It was I am love backwards, and that was so awesome. That got me. See, sometimes people drop jokes that I don't get because I can't get all the jokes. But damn it, I sure try. I try hard. Really, you know what? People don't know me. I am about having fun. I try to have the most fun all the time, and I try to make everybody feel great. But sometimes people are you know what? You might not even know you rejected people because people they so many nonverbal cues that people assume so quickly. I looked the wrong way when they were looking. Charles, I was giving you I was telepathically thinking that I wanted you, and I looked at you and I blinked 5 times, and you rejected me. But I didn't know you blinking 5 times meant that I love you, you love me. Let's go play Happy Family. I didn't know that. So that's what amazes me. Hey, is it Gavin or is it Gavin? I'm gonna say Gavin. It was a pleasure for you to come by and stop by, man. It's always a pleasure. Whenever somebody stops by, I don't care if it's one person, I don't care if it's 2 people, 3 people, because I'm not some big other than laughter and joy. I don't really get into too many topics. I'm a political, but I don't get political. The reason I'm saying because political means the governance with power of people. I'm breaking it down, but there's a little more to that. It's really about the ruling of a group and it's with power, and that's what politics are about control. And I would love to have some sort of control. I would love to be the dictator. Follow Charles, but I don't want to be a dominant dictator because I don't want you to reject me. But so on my page, I don't really speak on agendas unless I think it's something that's really controversial in a way that ideologically we need to address, and then every now and then I'll get into it. Like when I see a blatant fallacy, when I see something that's false, then I don't accept that rejection. I reject your premise, and I'll reject you for rejecting what I'm saying, and I reject you back, and that's what I do. So really, for me, it's all about love. I want everyone who stops by to feel love, and I love a lot of people, and I'm a person. I'm telling you, I'm so oblivious. You can curse me like I'm a different brother. You can talk bad about me. You can curse me out, and I'm gonna forget about it because I'm gonna still show you love. I don't remove support unless you say something that's so horrendous, so heinous, so horrible. So I should just look up the source and come up with more words that that causes the gravitas. See my beard. That's gravitas means the dignity. If it was such a grave it, put worry on my soul, then maybe I would go back into it. But other than that, man, you know what? I'm going to do something. You know what? I think I'm going to. Hopefully, I probably will because I can take trolls. I don't want people to come troll, but I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. So if anybody wants to come on and we can talk about rejection, you can do it. I normally don't do it, but I don't care. I don't care because I was waiting for Nia and Ice to join me, but maybe she's busy. But maybe one person would join, maybe two, three, four, five. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna keep on pontificating. I'm gonna talk about the news. I haven't looked up anything interesting in the news because you know, rejection. Let's look up news, rejection news. Oh, you know what? That's, I just thought about that. Um what was his name? It come back to me. I can't think of the guy. Elliot Rogers. That's what happens when you can't handle rejection. Uh, that's what happens. Uh, when you're not used to being rejected by somebody you find attractive, and when you think see a sense of entitlement can really stop you in your ability to achieve success in life or to see if you can't accept rejection you can never move forward. Rejection can be like the great China Wall. It can be like um the the wall that Donald Trump wants to build. It can be like um the electrified chain wire thorn around the prison. It can stop you from getting where you want to get to, which is called freedom. Yeah, I want to be free. Free me. So you have to not let um someone not liking you stop you. And okay, I'm gonna give some advice because now I'm just acting like I'm speaking because I would always tell people to become the best you can be and become attractive. And what do you mean by become attractive? Meaning, if you look at yourself, what people want to be around you, and if people don't want to be around you, what can you offer to what would you offer to them in their lives, whatever it may be, to make people want to be around you? Be it true or false. Some people have jobs they hate, but you know why they go to those jobs? Because the jobs pay them, and that makes them want to be around their job. They're like, damn, I just gotta go to work. I can't stand it. But you know, some people can't get people to come work for them. Why? Because people are rejecting their offers. So what I'm trying to say is become so attractive that people don't want to reject whatever you're offering. And when you offer something good, when you offer something great, people won't mind paying for it. That's why I understand sometimes paywall. You give me a little bit of information and I want to know more, but you're charging me for it, and it's something that I can't find for free, or it reduces my time for obtaining information, and I've heard a lot of great critiques, then I'm gonna pay for it. I'm gonna go. If just you being awesome, if you're awesome like Char Willie, as soon as you speak and say, "Hey, give me $5," I'm straight. I'm joking. Trick for you. We're simp for women that we like. So so I don't mind getting rejected because I'm oblivious. I'm still coming right back. But you're ready to be paid, baby. I got you. Don't worry. Charles, I don't like you. What'd you say? I didn't understand. I don't like you, Charles. But you're beautiful. Here's $20. Here's $30. 140, 150. I'll pay your rent next week. Don't worry about it. I don't like it, Charles. Because I'm a person you push me down, I'm coming right back up. I'm coming right back up. All right back up. No matter how many times you hit me, I'm gonna take it. I'm going to take it. Yeah. Hey, Brother Benzo, what's going on, brother? I see that you're here.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I was gonna let you finish your thing.
Man, I'm just having fun, man. I'm all about fun. And I just try to learn and grow, man. So Tell me, how do you deal with rejection? How do you?
I don't ever get rejected, man. I'm like that in a thousand. Nobody ever says no. Hey man, you know, if a woman don't like me, man, she don't like herself, man. I mean, seriously. It's just like buses, man. You miss once 20 minutes later, she was just doing opportunity because I probably, man, I'm not tripping. You know, there's different types of what? Rejection when like you're in the walking down the street, you say like, hey miss, excuse me. May I ask you a question? And you know, start a little conversation like that, or rejection while you're, you know, 2 years in a relationship, hopelessly in love with someone, and they're ambivalent towards you, and they reject you that way. There's two different types of things.
Yeah. So,
Two different types of things.
okay, how would you deal with it when you're in a relationship and your partner wants to leave you? How do you handle that one? Would it?
I
What advice
cry.
would you
I cry. I beg and I plead,
give?
and and I do it. I grovel. I kiss their feet, and no. What do I do? I'm gonna say, man. You know, if I've gotten older, when it's over, it's over. And if somebody's telling you that, you know, that's better than going through them cheating or whatever the hell they may have already like entered into like some type of understanding with somebody else, and that's cool too. Just go ahead and let it be, man, and avoid all the negativity and conflict. And how about this? You know, the good times we spent together in those 2 years, remember when this, remember when that. Hey man, let's just leave it at that. And that's all we think about in each other.
Yep.
There doesn't have to be any negativity.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Now that's the hard part. That's the hard part to do. And I couldn't do it necessarily when I was young, but as I've matured, I can, and it's worked out cool because you know some of these people, I'm not just hopping around and having just hopped around. I like to get to know a woman before I get involved with her. You know, there's a whole lot more about you that's sexy than just some, you know, than just some hormones popping off. We're talking about a grown man, you know,
Yeah.
a grown man that's not pressed about nothing. You know, the
Yeah.
whole. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
I call it the no stress express. I'm not tripping off of shit, and shit comes my way regularly, often. I think God gives me a inordinate amount of shit. It's like you think you so cool, huh? You think you can handle it? I mean, like, man, sometimes, you know, it gets overwhelming and everything, and we just pull back. Man, you can create your life the way that you want it to be. I'm a proud loner, man. I'm sucker fucking free. The majority of my socialization, at least I can admit it, okay, comes over this internet. I've got dear friends in real life that I don't even let them know about this side of me. I don't even talk about this shit. I talk about everything else. Somebody, know what somebody said yesterday? One of my rivals. He said, "You have no life. You have no life." Charles, I've done some. I've got to do just about everything I could think of as a younger man. You know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, in my late 20s and 30s and early 40s, you know, if I want to go somewhere at any rate. And I'm thinking, when I was driving yesterday, I'm like, dude, you don't get it. I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing. If you dropped off an extra $1 million to me, you know, I may upgrade a few things. I said, but other than that, I'm still gonna want to be doing this. Because this shit brings me joy.
Hell yeah, feel you. Feel you, man. I gotta make a joke for all you youngins. You should listen to Lenny Kravitz. This is called a song called "Baby, It Ain't Over Till It's Over." that song is every tear I cry. Man, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be over one day, and what you got to do is find out what you love and just have fun doing that. Oh, there we go. The infamous, the beautiful, the wonderful, the sultry, almost Charwilly type voice. But you know, it's only one Charwilly. Young in neon eyes. It's always a pleasure to see you here. And this was your topic, so I would love to hear anything you have to say. And whenever you feel ready to speak, you can interrupt. We got my brother Benzo, who I find extremely entertaining and passionate, and I enjoy him immensely. Most people, you just gotta laugh when my brother gets on because he's so passionate and real with his funniness. Is ridiculous. Man, I got nothing but love, man. For most people, uh, I feel like this: life is always a series of steps, and take your step by yourself. Now, if somebody wants to step with you, appreciate it. But remember, you're born alone, you're going to die alone. So people can leave you, and you can do like my brother Benzo said. You can cry, you can stop, you can plead, but people always have freedom to do what they want to do. So try your best to be oblivious to what other people do. I mean, I know it's hard. Everybody can't be me because what I mean by me is because I forget in 2 seconds. Like people, nothing. Like I forget in 5 seconds, man. Somebody could have beat my ass, and I'm walking down the street. What happened to you, Charles? I don't know. You know, you had your ass beat. Did it? This dude right there, he beat your ass. No, he didn't. Let's fight again. I'm the type of brother, so I don't really trip off of nothing, and I don't know how to teach that to people. But if I could, I would always say, man, just keep on persevering. Hey, what's going on, Mr. LMP? You feel free to interject and speak whenever you want to. You know, I get it. So the topic is how do you deal with rejection in loving relationships? And anybody want to speak, feel free to interrupt me anytime you want because I don't. It's all good. This is my page. It's our page. It's for everyone. It's not just mine. So if you want to speak, Mr. LMP, go ahead.
Sure, no problem. Thank you for having me, Charles, and shout out to the people on the panel as well as the chat. So, what I've seen is that a lot of times people get rejected and it really affects them psychologically. You know, years down the road, they're still talking about certain things. It is a problem for many people to be rejected. But I find when it comes to relationships, it's so different from, let's say, running a business or trying to do something outside of it because you can work towards building up a career, a business, getting your education, but relationships are completely opposite. Like, you can't work to make somebody like you. It's either they want to be with you or they don't want to be with you. You can't pressure people into doing things because if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. And the rejection is a part of life. And what I'm realizing now as time goes on, it's just important to essentially be aware of it and to move on. What I've come up with is this. If people aren't going to respect you the same way you respect them, it's not worth it. It's time to move on. So if I make a phone call and you can't return the phone call, I don't need to. I don't need to stick around. So to me, what it's come down to is looking at what the other person will do for you. Not to be like greedy, but we have to be fair. You can't be doing all the work and the other person is sitting there and acting up. So to me, you just have to look at it from the point of view, which is that you got to go where you fit in. That's it. The people who will accept you, go to those people. The people who don't accept you, it doesn't make any sense because I'll give you a prime example. There's a guy who was my supervisor years ago. He lived in a place called Nova Scotia, Canada. It's one of those provinces where not a lot is going on, high unemployment. So he was dating a woman there. The woman rejected him. She left him. She broke up with him, left him, moved to Toronto. He followed her to Toronto and he begged his way to get back with the woman. He got back with the woman and now he lives like a dog. So oftentimes when you push up yourself in terms of rejection, you suffer. Simple as that. Somebody rejects you, move on. Because you don't want to live with a person like that who will essentially treat you like a doormat. That's all I have to say.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Mr. LMP, because how would you how could you teach a man or a woman to deal with rejection? What advice would you give them to how they should operate? Because when you say moving on it, to me it seems easier said than done. So, do you have any type of advice you could offer to help them get or to accept rejection?
Moving on, moving, moving on is kind of code word for I'm in another situation,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
When someone tells you they've moved on, they mean like, I got somebody else and I don't care to talk about it. I'm no longer available. Yeah, I'm with somebody. I've moved on. So it's harder to go back.
Okay.
At least that's my understanding of moving on.
Okay. Mr. LMP?
Sure. So my suggestion to anybody who's facing this is to, number one, value yourself. Value yourself that you are a good person and you do have things to offer, and that any situation that another person doesn't want to be in is not going to be a good situation.
That's right. That's just what
So,
we were talking about. That's
yeah.
right. That's just what rejection is.
And for whatever reason it occurs, it is what it is. We could go into all the reasons why the relationship didn't work and this and that. And I understand there's a time and place for that. But it is what it is. It's just time to let it go, because I'm going to show you something. A
You
lot
know,
of people, go ahead.
just saying let it go doesn't mean even strong people can let it go. That's You can convince yourself of that logically, but your emotions, you know, and your hormones, and that just kind of essence of the kind of things that can happen when people are in a sexual relationship and the intimacy. That's 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 it's easy to say, oh yeah, it's over. I'm not going to think about this person anymore. But, doesn't always work out like that. Emotionally, it's another thing. Your thoughts. I mean, it's hard to control your thoughts, especially if you're obsessed with somebody, you know, especially if that person has permeated your soul and all of a sudden they're not with you and the contact stops. I don't care how strong you are. You're kind of wondering what she's doing right now, who she's doing it with. You got to resist. You got to resist the urge to stalk.
Well, here's the thing I would
You got
say.
to resist the urge to stalk in the day of social media, man, where they've got Instagram, Snapchat, and everything. If you want to get a bead on somebody, and that's how you know them, you can get a bead on them. There's no, you know, there's hard to hide these days. If somebody's incommunicado, they're incommunicado by choice, right? They're not effing with you. 1,500 ways on Facebook, on this and that. Man, you could drive yourself nuts for real.
But here's what I would say to that. I understand people have their different arrangements, but for me, my experience has been the people have moved on. They're not reaching out to me. Why should I put my time on them? They're in their other situation.
No,
They're not coming back.
why kid yourself to think it's possible? Why even do it to call? I would just call to see how you're doing.
No, none of
Hope
that.
hope you and Jim are happy.
No, I don't
I hope
agree with
Jim
that.
dies. I still love you. That's what it really is. No, I don't make no sucker out yourself. Let it be over. Stand strong. Maybe one day she come back and you'll still have a pair and some dignity, man. Keep some pride about yourself.
Yeah, you spoke about
And
dignity.
end up like me, 70 years old, single. Ain't been around a woman in 15 years. I'm just talking. But uh man, keep your pride, man. I don't see no pride out there. Somebody really playing it tough. It's a tough game. If they would break during that period, you got you somebody that you can ride with for a while. Somebody that's willing to tuck her pride in.
I know of a guy, for instance, that was dating this female. It went sour, okay? And she said she'll never ever be with him. But him and her are going to singles events. The things are so twisted. Stand your ground. Okay, it hasn't worked. Don't be reaching out to try and talk to these people. Hey, I've been thinking about you. Let's go for dinner. What for? The thing hasn't worked. You leave it where it is. And that's pretty much it. Because what I've realized is that a person will be up stressing about another person. And that other person isn't even thinking about them.
Man, that's usually
Late at night, people can't sleep, and the other person is sleeping perfectly. And what becomes really, really interesting is, and a lot of people don't understand this. I met a guy years ago, a guy driving trucks, and he had said to me that, he had been with this woman for quite some time, and there's a breakup, and she has another man. And I said, listen to me. This is the way it works. I don't know the situation personally, but that other man was always in the background. Either the personal trainer at the gym, or that guy at work, or that low life at the restaurant. These characters have always been in the background. Always. And that's where it becomes a little bit challenging for people to move on because they've got nothing to move on to immediately, but the other person has been secretly, essentially stacking their deck. So they have options. How do you think somebody comes out of a relationship and suddenly they're with somebody new? That person has been in the background all along.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Can I understand where you're going with this? But isn't it possible that somebody was not really having, like, consciously, like they had let's say they had like a coworker or somebody they knew for a long time and they maintained a friendship, and then after they got out of the relationship or when it started going sour, they just transitioned into a friendship relationship, like meaning people. I understand where you're gonna go with this, Mr. LMP, but I'm trying to frame a picture because I know where you're gonna go. And I'm gonna use Alan Roger Curry has a thing called fun clubbing, where a lot of people hang around waiting for that chance, and then once the chance become open, they take it. And I think another term they use is called orbiters. So I think even though you may not be thinking about it consciously, subconsciously, a lot of people maintain orbiters. So anybody who wants to speak on it, Mr. LMP, I know because you were just talking about it. So I'm asking a question, but I'm making a statement to inside the question to see what your take is. Brother Benzo, I know you can go on it. And of course, Neon Eyes, whenever you want to speak, you feel free. So go ahead, Mr. LMP.
Sure. So these people who are in the background, and I truly don't like these type of characters. They're in the background and they're waiting for their turn. They definitely are there. They're pretending to be friendly and this and that, but they're waiting their turn. Slimy people who do not state their intentions. And I think a lot of people know that they have these characters in the background that they can swing over to, male and female. A lot of people know that they can go over to these characters and they're there in the background. To me, one of the slimiest guys is the guy who will pretend to be friends with the intention of getting some. If you want to get some, say, look, I want to get some, and stop the foolishness. So the orbiters are there. They're in the background. They're in the church. They're in the workplace. They're all over the place. Hey, if you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm here. Get out of here. Go get a psychiatrist degree or something. Go and work in mental health if you want to be that shoulder to cry on. But don't play that role of the therapist. I can't stand that. If you ever need somebody to talk to, here's my number. That's the slimiest move ever, because your intent is to get in there. Just say, look, I'd like to deal with you. Okay, no, yes, fine, that's that. But you have those guys there and they're sitting and they're waiting. That's why those guys don't deserve any form of respect, because they're in the background and oftentimes they salt. And what do I mean by salt? They sprinkle in things here, sprinkle in things there. Somebody will say something like, oh, I'm having problems with my man. If you're having problems with your man, you need to address it with your man. But they sprinkle things in like this. Somebody says, oh, I'm having a little problem with my marriage. And he's all ears. Really? A real man wouldn't do you like that. and he's now planting ideas so that these seeds can grow, and before you know it, it's a force. Go ahead.
You giving my game away, man. I've been saying that to girls a long time. Now they're gonna be aware of what's going on. They're gonna know I'm orbiting. You know, you messed me up, Mr. LMP. Hey, for all the ladies, don't listen to him. I'm joking. I just had to make a joke of that. I feel you, Mr. LMP. I feel you. Hey, ladies, but you can talk to
You're,
me.
you're from Los Angeles, Charles?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm from Los Angeles.
That's awesome.
Really? Where you go to high school?
I went to Banning.
Okay, in Wilmington.
Yes, sir.
In the late 70s?
No, I'm older. I'm younger. That's way before me. I
Okay,
went.
you got gray in your beard.
Yeah, yeah. Just because I'm just
Not a I had a cousin went there. She's pretty
young.
popular too. Like in the days of remember you with Michael Allo, the football player,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know a lot of these football players because they got the Hall of Fame. So I went
right?
at
Well, he
early
was
90s.
something.
Mhm.
Um, what year did you come out?
I graduated 92. So, you know,
Oh wow, you just look more mature with the gray in your
great.
beard.
If I shave it off, I look like a baby, man. So
Yeah, I bet. No, the gray in your beard makes you look at least in your mid 50s.
take that. I'm cool.
And
I
you're
don't care if I look
not,
60.
and you're 92. No, you're a lot younger than that.
Yeah,
You're a
I'm
lot younger
44.
than that.
44.
Yeah, you're a lot
I don't mind
younger
telling
than
people my age, and I don't get offended by anything. So if somebody said, you look 60, I'll be like, okay, thank you.
man. That's a wonderful trait, not to get offended by anything.
Well, that's funny. So I don't, nothing bothers me,
I
man.
got a lot of boundaries. I just try not to let it. It might bother me. I just try not to let you show it. I
The
do
only
not.
thing that bothers me is physical touch. It depends. Like if I know you and we close and I'm trying to make a point, then it would bother me if you cut me off when I'm trying to make a point from somebody that I know, my close associates, my friends and family. But somebody I don't know, nothing you can do. Nothing. You can call me any name. You can say what you want to say. You can slander me. You can say I'm so oblivious.
How do you think you
I don't care.
develop such thick skin and such an ambivalence?
Um, Being young, and I fought a lot. I fought a lot, and people said stuff, and I didn't like getting punked. So no matter if I lost or won, I'm gonna still talk shit. So I became to the point where I didn't even care anymore. I was ready. Like as long as say whatever you want to say, I bet you won't touch me because you're gonna get it with me. So
Yeah, man.
and then in the military, when I got in the military, it was the game because boot camp they talked to you so horrible. I was laughing and for a long time, and that helped me. That helped me to deal with it like really well. And once
I
I get
had a I had a cousin. He's a little goofy. I said, "So what did you do when the dude started screaming? He joined the Air Force." He said the dude got in his face just like Full Metal Jacket. He said he started laughing.
yeah, that's
It
cool.
didn't work out too good.
Well,
Oh, that's funny.
I'll let it keep this going, but I want to get
Back
back
to
to
the topic. Sorry,
yeah, I
we're
want to
in
get
the
back to
tight,
the topic,
we're in
brother.
the tight
Cool,
show here.
cool little segue. It's cool. So go ahead and say what you got about rejection. Let's stay on it because it's real cool. Mr. LMP, you know I was joking when I was saying when I was talking about the orbiters. I totally agree with you on that. I'd rather people be upfront. Like I this is what I believe. If I have a woman, right, and she's with me and we're in a committed relationship, it's for her to reject the man. I'm not mad at any orbiter because I want a woman you want. So I would be offended if you didn't want to approach my lady. If you didn't think, damn, she look good, let me go get at her. Me. So I wouldn't be bothered if I wasn't around and you came up and you try to get at her. And I wouldn't even be bothered if you got her in my face because I want to hear what she gonna say. So she say something, then I step in. If she don't say nothing, I ain't got nothing to say. I'm gonna be watching. Yeah, she cool, I'm cool. And she gonna do what she gonna do anyway. But if she say I'm with Charles and leave me alone, that's when I step in. I'm like she's with me, and then I'm ready. After I say that, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever comes next. I'm just ready. So, hopefully it can be peaceful, but I'm ready for any altercation you want to give. I'll go where you go, same level. I'm joking, but I'm serious. Trust me. Anyway, so let me ask you something, brother Benzo. You have a real good touch with your emotions. Have you always been like that?
Um, no, it's a work in progress.
Mhm.
It's a work in progress. Well, I've always tried to maintain my cool from getting high school on. Yeah, you don't want you always want to try to maintain your cool and some type of composure, and tough situations. There's going to be tough situations where people are intentionally going to try to make you sweat or see you sweat. And if you can maintain your composure throughout those situations, it just makes you tougher and stronger. You just don't know at that age how many tough situations life really has for you. So no, and I don't know that I'm just better than a lot that I see out here as far as managing their emotions. Manage. Then again, I'm from a different era. I didn't only have a full-time father. I had a full-time stepfather and grandparents and uncles. And they, I couldn't say all of them were great, but they were men. They did what they had to go do without whining and complaining about it.
Greetings, Charles, and greetings to everyone on the panel.
Hi.
Oh,
Hello. Been waiting for you.
Hi. I requested this topic, and it's amazing. I guess the reason why I wanted to have the discussion is because I think that it's kind of a trendy topic on YouTube in certain like circles and everything, and I just thought it would be kind of neat to talk about it and kind of give my perspective from a female standpoint, and stuff like that. So, I was kind of thinking about I had relationships in mind, but I was also thinking in terms of like being rejected, like maybe on a job or something, or maybe like from like a social circle. But I think it's like kind of interesting how the topic is kind of like geared towards like relationships and stuff like that, you know?
You can take it wherever you want. It's open. I agree with you. Let's talk about rejection in any facet. It doesn't matter if it's job, social groups. Tell me
Man,
your
because
thoughts. I want to hear whatever you have to say, Neon. This is really for you.
Okay,
I'm
well,
I
I
think it's
think
because
like
the love
Hey, brother,
relationship
brother Benzo, hold
rejection.
on. I really want to let Neon I speak for a little bit. So can you hold on for a second? I really want her to speak. Please. Thank you, sir.
okay, I know like for me, just coming from like a personal standpoint, I can't speak for all females, but just to give my perspective, the way that I deal with rejection, um, I don't usually um express it externally. I kind of like deal with it alone and in my own kind of way. So like say I'm in a relationship with someone and he wants to break up with me. Of course I might be hurt and sad and stuff like that, but I like have my own ways of dealing with it. I'm not going to I might cry in front of him or express to him like how hurt I am, but those more extreme feelings I'm going to like hold them in and wait until I'm alone to do whatever I want to do to get it out and to express it and talk to my therapist or whoever. But I think that one way that I've always dealt with rejection, whether it be in like a social circle or professionally or in relationships, um, is like what I do is I kind of like to change the energy around me. So like what I'll do is I'll create new things. Like I'll do something I've never done, or I'll like go somewhere that I've never been, because that way I get to counter or kind of shift that negative energy and those negative emotions, um, and change it into something positive, into something new. Because sometimes you can just do one thing. It doesn't have to be anything big or anything dramatic, but sometimes if you just do one thing new, it can really change the energy of your whole entire life, and it can like kind of make it seem like you're living like this new life. Like, okay, have you ever like traveled somewhere and it was to like maybe this exotic place, maybe it was to like I don't know, like maybe a city in your state that you've never been to, but after the vacation you come home and the energy is different, it's just new, like it feels like you're living a new life. So I think people should just like, if you're dealing with it, if you're having difficulty carrying it, then try to go out and meet new people or do something that you've never done to change or kind of shift the energy a little bit.
I agree. I totally understand. Um, so I'm gonna ask you this: for a reset, how long does it normally take if you do an escape, a getaway? Is it like 7 days, 2 weeks, 3 days? How? I mean, I know it's probably depends, but I'd love to hear how long it takes for you to get into that new energy zone.
Honestly, for me, because I'm just crazy, but for me, it could be 3 hours. It could be spending 30 minutes at maybe a reservoir, a local reservoir that I've never been to, or um, going to a skydiving simulator or something. Like, it doesn't have to be anything dramatic. It can be something small, but sometimes you do need to get away from the energy physically. Like, just get out of yourself, get away from your place of dwelling, get away from the things that remind you of this person or the experience or these people, and just surround yourself with new things, surround yourself with new scenery, new vibes, and kind of create a different energy. You get what I'm saying? So I think for me, it just depends on how affected I am by it. Because some stuff I can just, if I'm rejected, sometimes I can just brush it off like it's nothing and just like go on about my way and not really think too much of it. But other times, if it's more personal, like for relationships, then I'm heavily affected by those types of things because of the emotion and behind it, and how I tend to get really emotionally attached to people, and when it comes to love and relationships and stuff. So I think like it just really depends on how affected I am by it.
Hmm. Have you ever been rejected indirectly?
Hmm. I have. I have.
And how did you what made you become aware that you were being rejected? What was the clue?
It was basically it was a group chat. You know how like they have those Kick apps? They have like this app called Kick, and they have another one called Group Me, and they have like these private chats where up to like 70 people can chat whenever they want and just talk about whatever they want to talk about. It was like we were having a group discussion about dating and BDSM and whatnot, and um I think one of the guys that had kind of caught my eye, he made a comment about short women or in light skinned women. And I knew that he was talking about me. I just knew. It's like some things you just know. And so I just took it and I just moved right along. Cause to me, it's like, why am I going to sit here and waste so much time obsessing over it when I can move on to the next? Cause I know like for every one person who rejects you, there's probably a million people out there who would accept you. So to me, it's like it's never the end of the world if it's on a small scale, something like that. But why waste so much time on it? Just move on, because you're wasting time here waddling in it when you could possibly be moving on to someone who is more than willing to accept you. But that's how I found out. It was just open conversation, and it was just, I don't know if the person knew that I was in the chat room or not, but yeah, that's kind of how I found out. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, so what about in a physical setting with a social group? Have you ever been ostracized or rejected from a group that you were already affiliated with?
um I would have to say maybe in grade school, but I don't I don't really hang out in groups anymore. I'm not really a person who's very fond of being around like a big group of people. My circle is like really small. So I would have to think about my grade school years on that one.
Okay.
But there are definitely times where I can remember in grade school when that happened to me.
Hmm. And you seem to be very intuitive because you say you feel energy. Have you ever felt a rejection before it came?
Um, I, no, well, I would have to say, yeah and no, because usually if I feel like I'm going to be rejected, I don't want to put myself in that in the line. I don't want to align myself or be around any kind of person, place, or thing that I feel I'm gonna. I mean, I would put myself in an uncomfortable spot to learn from it, but usually if I have a feeling that it would happen, I'm not gonna put myself in a position unless I just want to test it out for some reason, or if I want to be certain or something like that. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question or not. But
It did. Let me just say hello to the super Jamaican Canadian, the singularity, the point of there's no other one like it, the unicorn, the fabulous, the intellectual workout, the classic one, classic Ruby.
woo!
Wow, what an introduction. Well, good afternoon, Charles, LMP, Neon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction, Charles. I'll try to live up to all that today.
Well,
sorry, please continue.
Okay, well, you know what the topic is about. Is about how do you deal with rejection in love and relationships. And being that I know you rejected lots of men, and you probably had lots of situations in your life where either you were the rejector or maybe you were rejected. So I would love to hear any information, any wisdom you could add to this conversation without me having to dive right into questions, because you know I can do that.
Well, the thing is that I was never really good at rejecting people. I mean, I was in my younger days, maybe, but I think I was a lot more indirect. I think more so, I experienced a lot of rejection when it came to social relationships. And so I became, as a result of like social relationships and a lot of rejection in social relationships early on, like little things, like it was just, it's a matter of, grade school, for example. You make friends with the kids that, you're in all your classes with, who live in your neighborhoods. And a lot of the kids in my school walked to school every day, but I was bussed in because I was French immersion and I didn't live close to the school. So, and none of the kids in my building kind of went to my school. They were all older than me. So I just kind of, had a little bit of a hard time fitting in as well because, I was like one of 3 Black kids in my whole grade. And so there's just a lot of things that as a result, and also I was a typical only child, very spoiled, and I didn't understand how to like share, including friends. Like I didn't understand that if this is my best friend, that we're allowed to have other friends and stuff like that. Like, and I was a brat about it. Little things like that. So I experienced a lot of rejection, and even when I was a kid, things that weren't rejection, I took as rejection. So, I took things really, really hard when I was a child. So, it was like I just felt rejected all over the place. And back then, I had a massive anger management problem, and it had to do with that rejection. It had to do with feeling rejected and the disappointment and hurt and shame that would come with it, because I didn't just feel like rejected and they didn't like me, it's okay. It would more be an issue where they were rejecting me and I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Now everyone's laughing at me. I'm the laughing stock. I'm such a loser. Like it was one of those things. And then the hurt would come. And when the hurt would come, the tears would come, and the tears would come. And then I'd be angry that they were making me look so foolish and weak and stupid by making me cry. And then I was suddenly throwing a tantrum and, hitting things and breaking things. I mean, it was crazy when I was younger. I got to say, I did not deal with rejection well at all. So as I got older, I think what happened was I became a lot more careful. A lot of my personality traits obviously changed. I learned how to deal with disappointment, at least on the surface, a little bit better. There was a gentleman on here earlier. I can't remember what his name was, but he was saying it's not about the feelings, it's about how you manage your feelings. And that was a massive issue I had, was I didn't know how to manage my feelings. And when I started managing my feelings, what I realized is that all of these fears that I had underlying a rejection, the shame and the this and the that and the embarrassment and the laughing stock and all these crazy things, I had magnified this rejection to be something it wasn't. And when I just calmed down for 2 seconds and I didn't react insanely to it and I brushed it off like I didn't care, then I realized that it wasn't that much of a big deal. Then I realized suddenly that, within 3 days, it was old news. Everyone was on to something else. And even when it was the biggest topic in the world, everyone wasn't walking around pointing at me and laughing at me and taunting me. So I think that for me, that was the major thing in rejection, is kind of managing my feelings, but also coming to realize that rejection isn't the end of the world, and it doesn't make you some type of clown. In essence, the people who try to act like that are ones who need to make you feel lesser than so they can feel bigger. But for the most part, I think people don't react like that because everyone gets rejected. We get rejected all the time. Rejection is a part of life. You've got to get a thick skin if you're going to engage in life, because most of life is going to be no's, whether it's in relationships, in friendships, in jobs, whatever it is. Most of life is going to be no's. If everything in life is yes, you're doing something wrong.
I understand. I got a lot I can say. I got a lot to add to this. I must make so people will understand rejection. There are 3 movies that really deal with rejection that most people would not even notice that they probably have seen. One movie that deals with rejection that is extremely popular is a movie called Gone Girl, and it's about what happens when a relationship is not working out. And it's another movie is Acrimony, and another movie that people are gonna laugh at when I say, but it's funny, Revenge of the Sith. Darth Vader turns dark. Anakin Skywalker becomes dark because he felt rejected by the Jedi Order. That's just from the geeks. And out the one bonus for the geeks that ever listen, the movie Chronicle. If you've never heard of Chronicle, you should watch it. It's about how somebody who, even when they're not getting rejected, how they feel, like you said, managing their emotions. And if anybody has seen any of those movies, you can give your assessment on it. But if not, I got more questions for you, Ruby. So, and I this is kind of because I'm informed, but who have you, when it comes to both men and women, who has rejected you more? Has it been men or has it been women, Ruby?
I'll say by and large, it's been women. And it's, well, I'll say, yeah, no, it's been women. I mean, whether it's familial or friendships, it's been women.
So when you've been rejected by women, how, like, was it obvious? Was it subtle? Was it direct? Was it indirect? Was it abrasive? Or was it peaceful when you were rejected?
You know what? In that case, I do think it depends on the group and the personalities involved. So, for example, Girl World can be incredibly upfront and aggressive. So it can be in your face. It can be, very public, very loud, or it can be really cutthroat and secretive, and to the point where if you say anything about it, you're going to look like the crazy one, because on the surface everything looks fine to anyone on the outside of Girl World. No one on the inside of Girl World is going to admit you're right, and on the outside it looks fine. So you look like the crazy one for saying anything, but because what they're doing is really, really indirect, but it's definitely landing at home. And we learn these things really, really early. So I'll give you an example of learning it really, really early, going back to my early childhood. So I had this friend, and she was my best friend. And this is when I was trying to learn how to share friends. And she had a friend. And so I remember we were tracing shapes. I have a really good memory. Especially about things that happened before I turned, like, say, 20. And so we were tracing shapes. So there was a bunch of different shapes you could choose from: stars, circles, hearts, whatever. And so I remember that these two girls, my friend and her friend, both decided to do a star. So I decided to do a star. And then the one that wasn't my friend went, she's copying me, and crumpled up her star and started doing a heart. And so her friend said, oh, okay, we're doing hearts, okay. And so she started doing a heart too. So I decided to do a heart, right? And then she crumpled it up again and then went, and like clearly I'm not trying to do something malicious. I'm just trying to fit in with the group, right? And she put up her hand and she goes to the teacher, you know, Mrs. So-and-so, Ruby's copying me to make fun of me. Like I wasn't, right? Like I clearly was just trying to fit in. I was clearly just trying to do what everyone was doing. Like, you know, the friends are doing hearts, so I'm going to do a heart too, right? And then, you know, that really embarrassed me and it hurt me. And then, you know, again, managing emotions, I didn't manage it well. She knew I was going to flip out about it because she knew that I was near tears by the time we got to this third shape and whatever. And this was all in a ploy to get me in trouble. And when I was sitting in the hallway facing the corner, because that's what I had to do for the week of lunch times, she made sure to stand there at the end of every single day. So that way, as I turned around, she could do that stupid little smirky smile, flip her little stupid hair and walk away. Right. So this was like, she didn't sit there and say, I don't like you. You can't be my friend. Right. She just made sure to do things, little things like that, to make sure that I knew that if there was a friendship game, I didn't get to be part of it. Right. And then in essence, she was setting me up to make myself look more unattractive and more unappealing to our mutual friend. And she looks like the nice, calm, rational one, and then the nice, friendly, rational one. And I look like the insane, angry one. Right. So, you know, it can be really, really indirect, or it can be really, really in your face. It really does depend. And I got to say that the in your face one feels better. It's easier to deal with. And it feels better because no one's setting you up to look crazy. No one's setting you up to look like you are insane or a liar or whatever. It's in your face. I don't like you. They're going to tell you why they don't like you. They're going to tell you about yourself and your mama and you're this and you're that and you're whatever. But everyone knows you're not crazy. So I far prefer that over the setting you up to look crazy girl world action.
You know, you mentioned some very, very good points, and those are classic Canadian moves. So everything you said, those are classic Canadian moves. And you mentioned the ridicule. You see, the vast majority of the people in the country are nothing but a bunch of cowards. So if they see anything, what they try to do is first laugh you out. That's the first stage. The jokes, the this, the that. And then when the thing progresses and works, those are the same people who want to come along and this and that. And I understand the part about looking crazy. It's not that you are crazy, and it's not that you are looking crazy. It's the provocation. So they provoke people to do all sorts of things. But what I found is the best way to combat that is to address it with the facts. Look, I was doing this, your behavior is inappropriate, and I'm not going to tolerate that. That's usually what I use to sort them out. These are the things that are happening. They're unacceptable. You need to stop, because the last thing they want is to be put on blast in a systematic way. Okay, you're coloring this, and now you're crumpling up the paper. I'm going to continue what I have to do, and you can stay there with your nonsense. It's just this twisted way about them. And if you notice, their home life, their family life is trash. All this indirect foolishness. You're a woman and you're a man, and you don't know how to communicate, and we speak English, there's a big problem. You don't know how to say this is it or that's that. With Canadians, I find the problem is that they're so stupid, and they're so indirect on all of these different things. So it's like you go elsewhere and it's like a breath of fresh air, because people will say this is what it is. But these stupid games are ultimately what puts the country behind a lot of nations, because people are doing all kinds of dumb stuff. There's a problem. Let's say you and I are having a problem. Why do I need to go and talk to everybody else? as opposed to addressing you. But I need to
Right.
talk to everybody else so I can form some sort of coalition,
Yep.
coalition of people to now go up against you because I'm a coward. If I can't approach
Mhm.
you one on one and say, Ruby, this is what it is, I'm a coward. So now I spin stories. I've had that happen. They spin stories, they say all kinds of different things, and all I do is stick to the facts. Oh, people are saying all these things. So show me the evidence. And they all
Mhm.
frizzle out. Show me how these things add up. Since I'm such a bad person, give me evidence to support that I'm such a bad person. Give me the
Mhm.
videotape evidence. Give me the written evidence. Where did you see me do that? And then they become very frightened. And then it's like a hands off. And when they can't get to manipulate you, they say, you're standoffish, you're this, you're that. Good, continue to say that. But you know what? You just can't make these people walk all over you. You can't make these people disrespect you. And you really have to have a clear mind with these people. Most of the jobs in Canada are held by people who aren't even qualified to get these jobs. Most of them
Mhm.
can't even read properly or write properly, but they're in there because of nepotism. It's all one big hookup. A guy will
Mhm.
be head of this department. He's illiterate. You're asking yourself, how is that possible? All one big hookup. And like I said, they thrive on trying to make people feel a way over being themselves. Why should I conform? Because truth be told, I don't fit in. Why should I conform to your nonsense? Why should
Mhm.
I have to be like you? To get along, forget it. If it means I need to go along to get along, I don't need to get along. Because at the end of the day, I'm still out. I'm
Mhm.
just not one of you. So it's whatever.
Well, LMP, my question, as you were speaking, like it came up into my mind, and I realized something is that you said Canadians, and one thing is that you'll notice that in general is in Canada, and I'm sorry for Canadian males who are very Canadian, but um, in Canada, males are more feminized. They're more feminine. And I don't mean as in gay, effeminate. I mean as in their personality traits. I mean as in the way that they approach things. Um, and the reason why I say that is because if you go back to the way that we evolve, human beings evolved to compete, and you don't compete across sexes. Men didn't evolve to compete with women, and vice versa. Women evolved to compete with women, and men evolved to compete with men. And men evolved to compete directly. So, you don't sit there and do little things behind someone's back and so, right? Men evolved to, okay, I want to be leader of the tribe now, or I disagree with you. We're going to fight about it. Whoever wins, that is now the new leader. Everyone shakes hands. It's done. It's a one and done deal. It's very direct. It's very open. There's no underhandedness, whatever. Women evolved, and see, we didn't evolve to be overt and to fight. We evolved, and the way that we compete is through gossip. It's really the only way we can, because what we're competing for normally is mates. Because there isn't a hierarchy of women the same way that there's a hierarchy of men in that way. So mostly what you're doing is you're trying to be at the top of the food chain as far as, you're the best woman. So you get the best males to, mate with and to take care of you and whatever, the most resources. And so you can't really change genetics. You can't really change just what someone was naturally born with. So what do? You attack them on other fronts. And how do you do that? Gossip. And gossip can't be direct and in someone's face, because if, especially most of the time, it's not true. And that's the magic of gossip, is you can say whatever you want about somebody and it doesn't have to be true. Just enough people have to believe that it's true. And so if it's direct and you go into someone's face and you bring it up right away, it gets shut down right away. As you said, all of the points are proven right away. And then, hey, that person can't win. So what do? What does she do? She goes and she enlists her best friends, all the other people who are down at her level. Maybe the person they want to bring down is a 9 and she's a 7. So she finds her 7 friends to say, hey, listen, let's knock this one down a few pegs. And you know what? They are going to sit there and they're going to conspire. And then they tell a few people and they tell a few people. And by the time it gets to the person, now 50 people believe this. And so when you're going to say, well, where's the proof? It doesn't matter. The proof is 50 people believe it. That's the proof. So now the proof is on you. And since you can't prove a negative, you lose. And so this is where you see, this is why I say it's a very feminine and effeminate thing to be so, in the shadows that way, and to be so cowardly as to not be able to face someone one-on-one. And in that being said, though, this is why girl world is such a scary place to be, because we evolved to actually not only to do this, but to be very, very good at it. And this is how we are meant to be. This is how not only are we socialized to be that way, but there's something in our brains in puberty that kicks in and makes us fight this way. So, as much as men, I agree, men, we need to unsocialize our men from being so feminized in this society, because men are not meant to be feminized. And this is why it like you said, why are we so weak as a nation? This is why, because men are not meant to be women. They're not meant to behave like women, or to think like women, or to go about things like women. I think with women, the problem is always going to be that, and there isn't another way that women can really compete and can really fight in the same way that men can, because we don't have a hierarchy system that really works for women in the same way that men do, at least not one that's built in.
Well, here's what I would say to that. With the guys to start, a lot of the guys are just soft, straight up. A lot of the guys are just soft. So what they will do is resort to all sorts of nonsense. If you look at their appearance, they look very, very soft. You look at the things that they say, a number of guys I've had to really kick into place. And it's unfortunate, but sometimes they do have to be kicked into place because of the things that they're doing, which is ridiculous. A lot of these guys, the reason why they have so many problems with females is because they're not respectable. A lot of these guys don't conduct themselves in a respectful manner.
Mm-hmm.
And you spoke about gossip, but in 2018 in Canada, the guys have taken over from the women in terms of gossip. I've had to literally run out a
Yep.
number of guys recently by saying to them, listen, I'm a man. Don't talk to me along those lines. That's not a man argument. That is absolute garbage, carrying news on people and things like that. I don't have the time for that. And that's the way these guys operate. They say all these things and they do all these things. Now, from the women perspective, of course, I'm not a woman, but what I can say is this, that sometimes when the people are gossiping about other people, like for instance, me, I've had that instance where people are gossiping. What I do is say to them, continue to do it. There are times where I'll egg them on. I tell them, continue to do it. Continue to make up stories. Tell them that I stole $60 million from you as well. Tell them I'm the biggest crook in the world. Sometimes I just egg them on. Sometimes I say to them, keep up with the gossip. Keep saying these things. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to do what I need to do. And that's that. But like I said, many of the guys are very, very soft. And many of them have a whole pile of issues. I'd say this to you, Classic Ruby. The main thing about guys in Toronto is that most of them don't get women. That's the first thing. And the few that get women behave so badly that they lose the women. Because
Yep.
it's like they are attached. You ever see a tire on a rim? That's how they're attached on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they can't
Wow.
move. You ever see a guy and a girl in a gym? They're like attached at the hip. Get
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
lost. Let the woman go on the treadmill and do her thing, and you go on your weights, and then you guys connect later on. But everywhere
Oh
she
yeah.
is, he is. Stuff like
I
that.
agree with that. I agree with
Yep.
that. It's
Hello.
Oh,
it's it's so
hi.
I'm sorry. Hello, guys. I was listening as I'm driving. My parents, who were married for over 20 years, I felt like that they had to separate from each other to They got along very well. What I'm saying is they weren't always my mother was always under my dad and vice versa. They used to go to the gym and everything too, and they would always separate. I would always see them kiss each other, and then my mom would go do her treadmill stuff or whatever, and then my dad would do the weights. My dad was never, he was a man's man, an old school man. He was never up under my mother. He did not like that. And, he would tell me that when I was dating, like if I try to, keep calling, my dad would always say, let a man be a man. Why are you, you know, not really let him be a man. You can't sweat a man and be on top of him. What is he doing? What's going on? Let that man breathe. And these days, I don't believe that women get that concept. Every 15 minutes, what's going on? What's he doing? You go to the bathroom? What you eating? It's very unnecessary. I have to have that separation where I can be myself. Women lose themselves in relationships now that once the relationship is over, it's like, what is there left? It's like a shell of who you were before because you put your entire being in this relationship and you lost yourself. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I love and all of that, but no, I'm not doing that.
They have, they have this term that they use in Jamaica. They call them mama man. And what it means is it's a guy who's always hitched on to the woman.
Hmm.
So if you see the woman, you see him. If she is downtown, he's downtown. If she's in New York, he's in New York. Let the people have some space. Stop hitching up behind them and running up on them. Let them have
Yeah,
their
but that's all
space.
insecurity. And you know what? Going back to this topic that we've got going on, that is insecurity because of fear of rejection. You are so insecure and you believe so little in your own inherent value and in your partner's valuing you that you need to be with them 24/7, breathe the
Yep.
air they're breathing, see the sights that they're seeing because
Right.
you don't believe that if you leave them alone for a second, that it's not going to set you up for them to cheat on you, lie on you, embarrass you, something that is going to lead to you feeling those feelings of rejection and see, I wasn't good enough, proving that your insecurities about yourself are really right.
Oh,
True,
yes, because I
true,
see that.
true. And I think that's really sad because why can't you have your own life? When you are in a relationship, it's two people together. You're not one person. I mean, I understand, they say when you get married, it's like a union of two people. You're like one or whatever. But even with that being said, you still have to have your own identity. And I don't want a man to be up under me like that because I have my own life. And to be honest, whether you are around your spouse or mate or whatever, 24 hours a day, if they're going to cheat, they're going to cheat. You being there or knowing where they are on Instagram that I saw you timestamp you was on 4th Street at 2:05. That's not gonna stop anything if they choose to want to be with somebody else.
Yes, ma'am. I can tell you that. I was with my ex boyfriend for almost 5 years. I'm telling you, me and that man, all of the dysfunction we're talking about, and it wasn't out of, like, I mean, obviously there was underlying insecurity. I had to examine that later. But, like, literally, I wanted to, and I've said this, and people are like, what the hell? But it's true. I wanted to, sometimes, like, hugging him wasn't enough. Like, I wanted to be closer than hugging him. Like I wanted to literally breathing in his air felt good. Like whatever he thought, I thought. Whatever he felt, I felt. Wherever he was, I was. And vice versa. It was like that. We spent 24 hours a day together. So tell me how one day I got a call from some chick, his crazy ex-girlfriend, who he knows is crazy and set him up with his previous ex-girlfriend. Um, that not only was he cheating with her, but she sat there and ran down a laundry list. It was like every time I blinked, the man was sleeping with someone else. Like literally blinked. Like I like it was almost impossible. Like how do you spend 24/7 with someone and they're cheating on you? There was a time we were at a party together. We're at a party together. He went outside for a cigarette with this fat, ugly white girl. And no, I'm serious. She was fat and ugly for real. Like she was not attractive. Even if she got thin, she wouldn't have been attractive. And somehow made out with her and got to like third base almost while they were outside having a cigarette for 5 minutes. Tell
Oh my
me,
God.
the man was grimy and nasty as sin. Now, I wasn't trying to be up on him like that 24/7 to prevent him from cheating, because honestly, I kept getting these feelings he was cheating, and everyone told me I was crazy because he was
Mm-hmm.
so perfect and he was such a good guy and blah blah blah, and I'm
Right.
crazy. But I wasn't crazy. And he told me after the fact, he thought it was insane how every time I turned around out of the blue and I would just be like, "Are you cheating on me?" He always was. Like, I was never wrong. So I just wasn't trusting my intuition, and I was trying to trust everyone else telling me basically I wasn't good enough for him, so I shouldn't be accusing him of this, that, and the next thing. But the point is you can sit up literally inside of somebody 24/7. If they want to cheat, they will find a way.
Yes.
A hundred
And see,
percent.
that really really bothers me that you said that the people around you were saying that you weren't good enough, such a good guy. I hate that old school mentality where, like, the elders would say, "Well, he's a good guy, stick it out," or, "Oh, I know
Mm-hmm.
he hit you in the eye yesterday, but he's a good guy. He takes care of the bills." Blah blah. It's almost like women should sacrifice their moral and just everything about themselves because he's a good guy. Bottom line, like,
Mm-hmm.
I've never been in love before. I can seriously say I've been married. I was married for 20 years and was not in love with this man. So for me, I was pretty cold about the way I felt towards him. I didn't love him like that. So I have no idea how it feels to want to breathe someone's air. So I cannot, really say, "Oh, that's horrible." I'm not gonna say that because I've never even been in love before, and I would love to know how it
Mm-hmm.
feels. But it scares me when I hear stuff like that. Like, I would not want to give my entity, my soul, to this man because I'm in love. I just I can't. I can't.
You know what? It's actually, and the thing is that the way that I mean, it was really obviously me and my familial relationships were really in an unhealthy place. I was in a
Okay.
very unhealthy place. And what it came down to was, I had a lot of insecurity,
Hmm.
and I wasn't being a whole 100% coming
Okay.
into a relationship and finding someone else who was 100%. And now you come and you bring those two 100% together, right? You're finding someone
Right.
else who completes you. And like, I did a video on this, and I said this in this video. You cannot find someone to complete you. If you need to find someone to complete you, then you should not be finding anybody, because you should be complete. If you aren't
Yes.
complete yet,
Yes.
you're not ready.
I
Because
always say that. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
exactly.
love that. I love it. I always say, if you don't love yourself, please do not take
Mm-hmm.
on all your issues into another relationship that you have that person's issue. That's too much. Why are you? That's way too much. And that's probably why I'm still single, because I
Well,
felt like I want to love myself. I'm sorry. I do. I'm selfish. I want to love myself. I was married for 20 years and I was young when I got married. I enjoy being single. I want to be with somebody, but I'm not rushing. I'm 42 years old. And people say, "Well, you should be with somebody and, you should have a guy, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, hey, I'm cool either way. I'm not going to be, I have to have a man on my arm and I'm defined because I have a man. I will not be that woman. And I'm not knocking anybody who does that or anything. Don't get me wrong. Because, like I said, I've never been in love before, so I can't speak on that. But I just want to love myself because I feel like a lot of women don't do that. They don't love themselves. They put themselves last all the time behind their kids. Well, I mean, the kids is different, but they put themselves last behind everything, behind everybody, including their man. And the man's not going to
mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, baby, baby, go take care of yourself." He's not going to say that. If you're looking out for him, especially, no. I love to take care of my man, but the problem, like I said, if you do not love yourself, I do not know how you can love anyone else. It's an old saying, but it's true.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think like people need to learn how to be their own friend, like first and foremost, because if you look for someone else to complete you, what are you gonna do when they leave? Like what happens when they're gone? Like you have to learn to be your own best friend and love yourself and live by yourself. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree completely. Be your own friend. I like that. I like that. Be your friend because like she was saying, like all of us are pretty much saying that you have got to have your own identity. Like I said, a lot of women I know who was married for 30 something years, and then say for instance the guy just all of a sudden leaves them for another woman or whatever circumstances happen, or they die, anything happen, and once they're gone, the kids are grown, college, blah blah blah. They don't have nothing to do. They don't know what to do. They don't have an identity. And that's actually very sad to be, over 40 and you don't have your own identity. You don't have, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You're so used to taking care of kids, taking care of your husband or whatever. And once they're done, it's like, what do I do all day? You don't have nothing to do. You don't have any friends. You're just like, I'm gonna go clean up my. I mean, come on. I'm not. I just can't. That's like the 1950s, where women could not find their own identity and they were, had to have their man, and that was a culture back then. But this is 2018. It's very different now. You don't have to do that.
You know what? In the city that I'm in, there are many, many lonely people. And the thing about them is that they have to have somebody around them. Take, for instance, a lot of the guys in the city. If there's anything that they need to do, they need to go as a group, which is
Okay.
really a loser mentality.
Hmm.
They can't go to the movie alone, they can't go to the gym alone. They have to go as a group. And it really weakens them to the point that they don't have any independent resolve. So when they go through a situation where they were with somebody and it doesn't work, it's like they go into almost a suicidal mode.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, that's true. And you know what though? And I got to say this though, because it's actually something that I am currently in the process of working on, because not having value in yourself doesn't necessarily mean that you're also codependent or dependent on people.
Mm.
Because for myself, right, my inherent value, the value I put on myself, is the value I could give to others. So how much can I help other people? How much can I bring other people up? How much can I whatever? It had nothing to do with me. It didn't make me feel good to help me. It made me feel good to help others. And I mean that really very sincerely. Like, it wasn't about reciprocation. It wasn't about even the health of the relationship of the people I was helping. It was just literally about, can I do something positive for someone else? And, at the end of the day, that still, it comes down to, well, how was I valuing myself? How was I showing myself any type of love or respect or affection? So as much as I was walking around, it's like, I'm not dependent. I don't need people. The second one of those people dropped me or didn't need me anymore or whatever, okay, well, I guess it's on to the next. Because I had already set myself up to be that way, where I value other people and they don't value me. And somewhere along the lines, I forgot that I don't like that. Right? So, it came down to, it's like, oh, wait a minute. No one else is going to value me if I don't value me. And I'm not valuing me. And I don't even remember how. What does that even mean? I don't remember. What does it mean to do something good for yourself? And just sit there and feel good about that? What does it mean to say no to somebody, and actually be okay with the no and not be literally having a panic attack because you said no?
Right.
What does it mean to not be literally hiding in a corner and not doing anything for yourself because you said no to someone else for them, and now you feel guilty if you would do something for you? These are the things I really was setting myself up to do. And so you recognize that it might shift and it might change. You might be doing something different. I clearly did not repeat the mistakes that I made with my ex in that way, but it doesn't mean that I really am different, right? It doesn't mean that I went and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to value myself, and I am going to make sure that I am giving myself 100%. And then that way, when I give myself 100% and I'm giving the world my 100%, but in a balance, then hey, you know what? I'm going to have balanced relationships around me. I'm going to have fulfilling, successful things around me. You know what I mean? And I think that at the end of the day, that's why, like, I'm not going to focus on relationships so much, just because, for me, it really has to do more with self and with friendships and with familial relationships and those things. For me, as much as, yeah, I was always like a long-term monogamous type person, so I don't have like a lot of relationships.
Right.
But, with friendships, I just see the same cycles repeating themselves over and over and over again. And what it came down to was, I'm not one of those people who, oh, well, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out with 15 people and blah, 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 because I don't invite people to go out with me because I assume no one will want to come. Right?
Oh wow.
I make myself available so that way other people, when they invite me, I can come. Right?
Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
See,
No,
yeah.
see,
Right. So it's still just
it's,
as dysfunctional.
Well, okay. Well, I'll say this. I think it's beautiful that you are working on yourself. I'll say that. I can tell we come from, two different worlds because I grew up. I'm kind of a loner, and if you do some research on kids who grew up in the military, my dad was in the Air Force my whole life. I pretty much traveled. I don't keep people. I have like one friend, and I just keep to myself. And it was where I was raised. Every year I was in a different school. Most people I know have been to school with of their kids their whole life, junior high, high school, not me. So because I realized
Right.
I'm a loner, my parents, it was my parents, my sister, and that's all I had. We moved around, so I was close to them. So for me, to be by myself is easy. It's nothing. I've never had an issue. I could be alone. It doesn't hurt me. Now, going out by myself, I haven't done that. That's something I'm working on for myself. My son taught me a lesson. He's 20 years old, and last weekend he came up to me and he said, "Mom, I'm going to the movies." I was like, "Okay, well, you going out with a girl? You going out with your guy?" He said, "No, I'm going by myself." And it threw me a little bit, and I wasn't like, I didn't get upset with him, but I didn't know how to respond. I mean, I did not know what to say. I was like, "Oh, are you okay? Are you know?" That was the first time. He was like, "Mom, I'm just going to the movies. I want to see a movie. I don't have to have a girl or whatever." And I was like, my son taught me a lesson. I was like, you know what? I love that you feel that way, because
Mhm.
your mom, I don't know if I can go see it. My mom was like, "Oh, go to the movie, go to dinner by yourself." I said, "It feels weird." I was like,
Mhm.
that's my issue. I don't think, I mean, I think I could do it, but I feel funny. Like I'm not on a date with somebody across the way or one of my homegirls. We're not like, chilling at the bar or whatever. It just feels weird. So my son taught me a lesson like, hey, you don't have to have someone with you to go out with you. Go have a good time with yourself. People used to say date yourself. Psychology used to say date yourself. And you think it's kind of
Mhm.
corny, but it's not, it's true. Get up, dressed up, go to a restaurant, and pay for yourself and date yourself. I want to
Mhm.
do it. I really want to do it. I'm just been procrastinating, honestly.
Here's what I would say to something like that. It's better to be on your own than be in the company of gossips, losers, and liars. It's way better to
I
be
want
by
Mhm.
yourself
let me
than
jump
to
in for
be.
one
Go
second.
ahead, no problem.
Can I jump in after you, Charles?
Okay, I'm gonna be real quick. Uh, Lady C, I think that you be the best date you ever had, ever. You seem to be awesome. And I just want to say something real quick. Me, I think I learned rejection really young. So I was used to people not doing stuff for me. And once you get used to people not so much disappointing you, but knowing
Mhm.
that people are human and things can happen. So I learned to not take anything personal. And because of that, it made me less angry or when somebody said they couldn't do something or somebody didn't want to do something, I understood because it helped me understand that no matter what, people have things going on in their life and we are all to a certain extent selfish. So because of that, I try to be as extremely altruistic as possible, and I'm always trying to do stuff for people. So maybe one day they may want to do something for me, and that's the way I look at it. And I don't expect anything. It just helped me to understand that we all go through something, and sometimes people just need something done for them. And I learned to love me early, and I love me, but I love you all too because I'm just happy that you guys are all here and dialoguing and I'm just in the background. This is awesome. I'm really appreciating it, and I just want to keep on listening. So I'm gonna be quiet now and go ahead and yeah, do
Thank
y'all.
you, Charles, for having me. Thank you, guys.
No
I
problem.
was just gonna say, in terms of like dating yourself and stuff like that, like
Mhm.
I learned that earlier on too. And like when I was in grade school, it's like people used to always ask me like, why are you always going to the movies by yourself? Why would you go out to eat by yourself? Why would you do these things by yourself? And I'm like, why not? I'm worth it. Why would I be ashamed to go out in public by myself? You know what I'm saying? And I never understood why that was such a weird thing to people. Because it's like, if I'd want to be seen with anyone, it would be me. Like I'm not ashamed to be in my own skin. So why would I feel weird or awkward going out in public by myself or going to a movie by myself or, doing something alone and having fun? Because to be honest, it makes the experience that much more enjoyable because you don't have people around you to ruin it. You can enjoy the moment, you can be slow and absorb it and savor it. You know what I mean?
I think it's a generation, honestly, because of the way we were raised. I'm 42, so growing up, my parents were together for 20 some years, so they were together. But I didn't really see that where people were just like going on a date. Now my son, of course, he's different generation, so kids today is not a big deal, and I'm not embarrassed or anything. 'Cause like I said, I'm a loner. I'm by myself purposely anyway. But just literally getting up, getting dressed up, going out to eat, which is something I want to start doing. I've never done that before. So I agree with you that we shouldn't be embarrassed about that. I completely agree that we should be able to go out or have a good time and not necessarily have to have, a date or your friend or even a family member to go out with you. I completely agree with that. I think that we should change that, especially women. I have to have
Yeah.
a date. Pay for your own meal. You have a
Yeah.
job, pay for your own meal.
Right, right, exactly. And I'm not saying that I'm completely opposed to going on dates or spending time with friends and things like that. But me, I'm not. I'm more asocial. I mostly want to be alone. That's just me. Like I enjoy my solitude, and I don't know. I'm just weird and crazy. But I mean, most of the time I want to be alone anyway. But I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
You know what though? I get what you're both saying, and I think the thing is like, for me at least, there are certain things that I just feel like are group activities, or at least not solo activities. So
Hmm.
they are things that in my mind are reserved for when I'm going to do them with someone else. If I'm going to sit there and I'm going to pay $20 for a ticket to go see a movie, I'm not doing it by myself. Now, I'm not saying it has to be on a date. I could go with a friend, I could go with family, I could go with whoever. But if I'm not going to go and make it an event, I'm not spending $20 for it. I would rather just watch it for free by myself at home. You know what I mean? Like, now I would go to a restaurant by myself because whether it's with other people or whatever, I only go to, like, I'm not going to just go to a restaurant just to go to a restaurant. It's got to be, oh, the food's really good there, you got to try this there or something. I don't mind going to a restaurant by myself. There are certain things that in my head are, you could go by yourself and like it kind of makes sense to me. And then there are other things where I'm like mini golf. Right? Like
Hmm.
I'm never going mini golf by myself. Like I'm just not. I
Oh,
like
I
mini
get
golfing. I think it's
that.
cool, but I'm not gonna go by
I get
myself,
that.
right? Like
I
I
get
just,
that.
I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, I'm so crazy. I go to a theme park by myself. That's just me. I go to the movies by myself all the time. I'm just
No,
weird. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think that's weird. See, I don't think that's weird at all because the theme park, you're full of people there. It's like you're not by yourself. You literally are not by yourself. You run into friends there, or family members you know was there. The theme park, I can get with that. I could. Like, like
Mm,
I want to go Six Flags in here in Texas and leave my kids home, which I couldn't do that with these kids. But I'm saying if I wanted to do that, I really would enjoy myself because there's too many things that to do there where I don't think I would even notice that I, didn't have my kids or, like you said, family or friends or whatever. But I also agree with she said that there are some things like the golfing or that need people not really need. That was wrong adjective. That's not a group activity. Like she said, I completely
Yeah.
agree with her. I do.
Yeah. I can see where she's coming from. I kind of concur with that too. Yeah. There are some activities that I would much rather do in a group. Like if I'm going to a hookah lounge and it's like they're having some kind of special event, I'm gonna just sit there for an hour and smoke up a whole hookah by myself. Like no, like that's something that I would like probably do as a group, not really by myself, unless it was like during the day or something. I don't know.
But you know what? Sometimes you just need that time to disconnect and essentially be by yourself to think things out. Like sometimes what I'll do is I'll find some basketball court somewhere and I'll hook up my Bluetooth speaker and I'll shoot around for even 3 hours alone. Sometimes you just need that space by yourself because what I don't like particularly about where I'm at is that there's so much group thinking. It's like everything has to be done in a group. They don't get rich in a group. The valuable things they don't do in a group, but all the other garbage they have to do in a group. You know, if let's say some people are getting married, they have to get married too. If some people are doing this, they have to do it as well. I just find that the group mentality in Toronto is a problem because everybody's all in these groups. And the weird thing is that I used to look at these groups and say, wow, these people are in these big groups. They have a lot of friends. But when you check it out, they're in the group for some kind of personal validation, but they don't like each other.
Wow. Yeah. Or like or like if they're like in some kind of the person is in some sort of power trip or something like that, so everyone's following this person, but in reality no one likes that person. They're just there because maybe they benefit from that person who's, the supposed leader or whatever. But at the
Yeah.
same time, those people are trying to take that person down to get that spot. So I don't feel like having a group of people around you necessarily is good. You get people around who are yes men who will say, yeah, 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 I like that. But then when you go away, oh my God, did you see what she had on? Girl, that was, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
having a group necessarily is really a negative thing. Like, what my grandmother used to say, don't keep too many people around you because you don't know who's in your pockets. And I never understood as a kid. As an adult, I understand it now. Is that a literal saying that they're in your pocket? But if they're all in your house, you're not in every part of your house. They're digging here, digging there. Some
Right.
of them are missing. You don't know who to accuse because, hey, you have a big group around you and you don't know what's going on. So not necessarily is that a group is not always, like I said, a positive thing. Gangsters used to always say, don't write stuff down. Don't have a big group around you because you cannot look after everybody. You cannot check to see who's in this room, who's in that. I'm not saying, I'm using it as an analogy. Who's in this room, that room, or whatever, because you can't check for everybody. A smaller group, you can keep eyes on that's why I keep to myself. I'm sorry. It's just easier. I mean, I don't mind having friends and all that, but it's overrated. I'm sorry. It really, especially these days, it's
Here's
overrated.
There's
something
two.
that I'll
There's
mention.
I'm
Okay, go
sorry.
ahead. I was
No, I
gonna.
was just gonna say one thing. I was just gonna say like there's like social ranking orders in like bigger larger groups sometimes, and that's annoying. That's why like most of the time I just rather be alone, or if I feel like being in a group, maybe two or three people. You know what I mean? But anyway, go ahead. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sure.
That's what I'm trying to say.
What I was gonna say was that I found, at least where I'm at in Canada, when you speak to people respectfully, they figure that they can undermine you.
Mm.
But when you curse them out and you treat them like trash, you get more out of them. I don't know.
Yep.
Classical,
Yep.
can you relate to that? Like when you rail up and show them how disgusting you can be, then you see them start behaving normally. But it's almost like they have to see you curse them out for them to get the message.
That's something let me tell you something. Growing up, like I said, I was a military brat, and I was kind of known for being mean. It wasn't that I was mean; it just that I'm pretty blunt and straightforward all the time. People take that as being mean. I wasn't all nice, sunshine, and rosy, so which is fine with me. I just that's how my attitude is. I'm not necessarily mean. I'm really soft on the mill, but they assume that I am. So guess what? I've never been played by nobody. No one's ever tried to bully me. People always assume, oh, she looks like she mean. I keep it like that. It's my shield because I've never had issue with people. If I came off as nice and kind and sweet or whatever, I've been played all, or they think they could play me, like you said.
True.
Like with a man and a woman, you notice you have a good guy who has take care of the bills, a nice guy. She cheats on him constantly. But the other guy who beats the crap out of her and embarrasses in front of her friends or whatever, I love him. I could change him. That's the same scenario, but just a different situation. I've never understood that. You have a good guy, but you treat him like crap. But the guy that treats you like dog crap, you think he's the king and you worship the ground he walks on. I don't get it. To this day I don't. I'm 42 years old. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, it's really messed up because I've had situations where I have told people off, and it's like you would think that you've told them off, they would disappear, but they keep coming back. Like, how can a person tell you off and you keep coming? Why would you want to associate with a person who doesn't like you?
Because we like to we punish ourselves as humans. We do as humans. We punish ourselves. It's almost like a thrill, or a bad girl, a bad guy. I don't get it. You rather be in negativity and in darkness instead of the light. You more comforted by being sad and dealing with a lot of these bad things opposed to the happiness, the light, the positive, and everything else. I don't get it. We're the human, this whole generation, but as humans since the beginning of time, we've always punished ourselves. This is nothing new. It's just a different time. That's it.
You're right on that because I've seen scenarios in which I have done my best. Like, I'll give you an example. I worked in a garage back in the day, and there was an older mechanic there. And I did everything I could do to be respectful to the man.
Mm-hmm.
Every opportunity he got, he disrespected me. Every opportunity. And then towards the end, I started to flip out and diss him. diss him hardcore, and then he started to behave normal.
Wow.
All sorts of disrespect I was throwing in the end because of the disrespect he was throwing in the beginning. It's almost like if you don't get disrespectful, they don't know their boundaries. Like you have to throw certain insults out there.
Or you either they're testing to see if you're going to react, or like like in most companies. um I used to be an assistant manager at Walmart, and I remember when I was being trained, and I used to always say, why are the managers so hard on the associates? Oh, we have to break them down to lift them up. I was like, what?
What?
And that's the mentality of America. We gotta be hard on them, just grind them down, and then up after the fact. We have so many dysfunctional issues as a country as a whole. That I think that needs to be changed, because if we do keep repeating this same history over and over and over, nothing's gonna change. It's gonna get worse. And these kids are coming up behind us. Like my younger son's 15, my 20-year-old. If we don't change the way we're thinking, it's gonna keep going. It's gonna get worse. It's going to get worse. I swear. It's like it's a chain that's constantly going, and no one is breaking that chain. No one is.
What I find is this: the most disrespectful people out there, they don't want anybody to disrespect them. Then they become the so called victim. I've had situations where people are very disrespectful, and when I respond to them, now suddenly they're the victim. Now
Yeah,
suddenly people don't talk to them right. Suddenly, you know what I mean?
I do. I completely. They can't. Okay, what it is, they can dish it, but they can't take it. As long as you don't say anything, oh, you're good. Oh, you're fine. But as soon as you give them what they gave you and 10 times more, oh, they
Right.
start crying. They start crying. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It hurt my feelings. They're so disrespectful, and blah blah blah. But you doing the same exact thing. So what's the difference?
You know what it is? And I'm gonna say this real fast, but it's a saying and people kind of live it. The saying is no pain, no gain. So a lot of people think things have to be difficult and hard and cruel and mean to feel like they accomplished something. And you can even see it on YouTube. I'm gonna make it if you look at, there's a lot of people that are extremely positive and nice, but they probably get no views. But as soon as they start talking about people and do evil stuff or they troll, next thing you know, they're stars. So
Oh my
it's
God.
permeating our society, negativity, and people will be negative and they don't even realize that for no, like I could be nice to somebody, but they'll take my niceness as negative to add for fuel to give them something to be negative about because they figure that's how I'm going to make it. And I worked hard for it instead of just being loving and kind. And
Mhm.
that's my belief. And I think a lot of people do like pain. They take it, like I just said before, they take the no pain, no gain. So if there's no pain, then this is not good for me because they're not giving me pain. But when I had to work hard and it's painful, then I've made it. And pain does not equal success, but a lot of people correlate success and pain. And I got to really think about that one, but I'm done.
No,
That's a very good
Well,
point.
you
I
know what?
love that.
If I could just add something in, because I do think, and I mean, I don't think you can, with a lot of these things, I don't think you can kind of say, okay, well, one size fits all. I think there's a few different answers. And I think for sure, some people are just gluttons for, punishment. But I think you got to look at the reasons as to why. And, if anyone's ever heard of the kick the dog syndrome. So basically what it is and the story goes, so the husband, he's a low level, employee, whatever. His boss, he goes to work, his boss shits all over him, tells him he's nothing and whatever. The man goes home, he beats his wife, the wife beats the kid kicks the dog. Why? Because
Oh,
the kid
gotcha.
doesn't have a person to punish, right? And the kid can't lash back at mom. Mom can't lash back at dad. Dad can't lash back at his boss, right? So everyone kicks at the person who's lower than them, and everyone takes without saying a word, the abuse that is being given to them at the person above them. Why? Because they feel helpless. It's that learned helplessness syndrome. They've told themselves that they are helpless to do anything against this, and that this is how things are supposed to be. So they don't lash out, and they don't fight back, and they don't push back against the person shitting all over them, who has some perceived power and some perceived, I guess, dominion over them. What they do is they kick at the person who they feel is lower than them. So those people who love, this, it seems as though they love this pain so much and whatever. If you look at their lives, they're delivering that same shit to someone else, right? They're not pushing back at the person who's giving it to them. They're going to give it to someone who they think is lower than them, someone who they have control over, who they have dominion over, who can't kick back at them, right? And so it's basically this cycle, and the cycle ends at the dog. Why? Because the dog is the only one who doesn't understand what the hell's going on.
Exactly.
Right? And so, yeah, and it's unfortunate because, again, it's you can look at it, especially in our community, where our community is just whether you look at a small level or at bigger levels, our community on a large level is just a series of these toxic relationships. This is what we do. We believe that there should always be someone above us who kicks us and stomps on us and shits on us and puts us down. And likewise, we believe that we always need someone below us to take all of that aggression and anger and pain out on, so that way we can feel better about ourselves.
Yep.
Right? Because and this is the thing, until someone breaks the cycle along the way, whether it's the husband, the wife, the kid, someone's got to break the cycle, because eventually it gets to the dog. What is the dog? In our cases, it's our babies. It's our babies who don't know better. It's our babies who don't understand that they are being trained to perpetuate these cycles. And then once they're perpetuating the cycles, they don't even know that that's what they're doing. Right? It takes any one of us at any point along that chain. We can break it. We can say, nah, I'm just not going to do it.
But you know what? The dog probably, in some scenarios, because of that, will bite back.
That's right.
They will bite you back.
That's
now, you would think so, but learned helplessness syndrome. So, and they've actually done, back when they were allowed to do cruel and unusual experiments, so they've actually done experiments on this. So what they did is they put a dog inside of a cage. And the cage was metallic all over, had some water on the floor, and then they would shock the cage. And the dog would frantically try to escape the cage. Of course, it's being shocked, it's painful, it's trying to escape, it's trying to do anything, right? And then as it continues being shocked, what happens is it realizes that there is no escape. It can't run away from the electric shocks. No matter what it does, it can't. Eventually, it just lies down and takes the shocks. It doesn't even respond the next time you shock it. Now, the interesting thing about learned helplessness syndrome is that now it's learned it can't run away, right? It's lying on the cage floor. Open the cage door now and then shock it. It doesn't even run away. The door's open. It can leave. It knows it can see the door open. It knows it can leave, and it won't. Why? Because it's already learned there's no escape. It's already learned there's no point.
It's a situation. They just adapted. Like, that's interesting. That's that's intriguing. No, it is, really, it is. Because we can use the example, like I'm saying about the guy beating the woman. You know, even if she has the opportunity, like, look, we got you a shelter to go to, and blah, 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 she won't leave. The door is wide open. She'll stay there, knowing he gonna come home and beat the crap out of her. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't understand it, but I do. I've never been in a situation like that before. I've never had a guy beat me, and I just took it. So I can't speak on it and say you must, because I think everyone has to have their own time to leave or whatever. But I still say that we should be strong enough, regardless of, male or female, whatever, to make a decision. It was like, this is not good for me. This is not good for my sanity. This is not good for my soul or people around me. I need to move to something more positive. It shouldn't be negative things. Should not be a home, a welcome, a comfort, a blanket. And I feel like you know what I'm saying? I feel comfortable because something bad's happening to me, or negativity is everywhere. I feel good now, but I've heard women say, "Oh my God, right now we're not arguing. It's really good. I feel weird." I'm like, why? Why would you even say that? You feel weird because it's not good. I mean, because it is good. I don't get it.
Well, and see, you know what? If you look at that though, and this is why I said, who's the dog in the situation? The babies, because the babies are being raised up in this. Right? So we're not just looking at the woman who's learned to take the beating from the husband. We're looking at that woman, because the woman who's in that position, who's going to take the beatings, like you said, you didn't, right? That woman learned that from the time she was a baby, and she learned it at 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. By the time she got to be a wife, that was what she knows. This is the way that it works. Yeah. Only now she's moved up in the ranks. So now at least she's got someone else. She's got someone to kick. right?
Exactly.
And this is how the cycle perpetuates itself. Is you learned helplessness is not just about the situation that you're in when you're the dog, but you also learn that there's no escape from this cycle. There's no escape from being part of this cycle. This is how things are, and there isn't a way out. What's the way out? Well, you run to the shelter and blah blah blah. Why would you go? And this is the thing. Well, he's going to find me no matter what. Well, I'm not worth anything anyway. Well, the next man's just going to do the same thing. Well, this is how everybody is. These are the things that, you know what, you've already trained your mind to believe and to think and whatever. And on top of that, which is the worst part, is in a lot of these cases, again, they don't start beating you right away. It's not like you walk into a relationship, they kick you in the face. There's a training period where, you know what, first everything is beautiful. And then one day you screw something up, they punch you in the face. The next day they are so sorry, oh my God, and blah, blah, blah. And I was so angry. Yeah, Candy, and I was so angry, but that's because I love you so much. And then it turns into a little bit more frequently, but why do you make me do these things to you? Why can't you just let us have a nice day? Exactly.
They're being blamed for stuff that they have no responsibility for.
Exactly.
But you know the women are okay. I'm not, women have gotten mad at me for saying this before, but I've always said, if you're dating 3 different guys that have the same traits, do you think that if there's something in you that is either looking for something like this, or that you're attracting that to you? Because how is it that you can completely, I mean, I blame the man, but you cannot completely, it takes two to tango. In every little situation, it takes more than one person to do it. You can't just do it by yourself. So you are going after relationships like this, and you welcome them in. You see the signs. We all have signs. We all see these things. If you choose not to listen to it, I mean, like I said, I don't get that. You see the red bells ringing like stranger danger, and you choosing to keep going. Like,
yes,
why?
but the thing is that there are situations in which, let's say, a woman deals with 3 different guys and they turn out to be the same. Sometimes there are things that they can see up front. But from a guy's perspective, there are a lot of guys who are very, very deceptive. And there are a lot of guys who will say and pretend to be a certain way to get in there. I can tell you that firsthand. A lot of guys will pretend and say anything they can to get in there. And it's important for people to fight for what is valuable to them. Somebody lift up their hand to punch you, be ready to swing right back.
Right.
But you know what, though? The important thing to note, and it's funny because it ties back into what we were talking about earlier as far as valuing yourself, and being a whole person. So, if you don't value yourself and you aren't a whole person and you are codependent and whatever, the kind of love that an abuser gives at the beginning when everything is in the honeymoon phase is addictive. It's addictive like heroin. It's beautiful. It is the most beautiful, toxic, addictive thing that you will chase because and that's the thing. These men are often incredibly charming, and they are a woman's dream come true. Now, if you are a whole person, if you are a healthy person, then you know what? The alarm bells that would ring for you, like for example, the fact that they want to monopolize all of your time, the fact that they're insecure when you go with your friends and they're a little bit jealous, the fact they're even jealous when you spend time with your family, et cetera, the fact that they want to you to spend less and less time with everyone except for them and whatever. For if you're a normal person, if you're a whole person with a whole life, and then you're combining that whole life with someone else, someone wanting to take away your whole life from you isn't gonna work. Just off the bat. And an abuser is not going to target someone who has that and who would respond negatively to that. Now, to someone who's not whole, though, that seems, oh my God, he loves me so much. Oh my God, I'm so important to him so much. I fill every space of so much. This is love. This is real love, right? And this is what they think to themselves, and they can't see the difference between what healthy in love, healthy, being so up in each other and whatever, and unhealthy looks like. And that's how they get themselves caught again and again and again, because it comes back down to self. Until they fix themselves, they're gonna keep being prey for predators.
Here's something I want to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, Ruby, we had a conversation about this back in February. I don't know if you remember, but we
Yes,
were.
ma'am.
You remember? Yeah,
I
and
do.
I listen to that hangout even now, and it still helps me. So like everything that you just said is spot on when it comes to like the abuser and things like that and how they pray.
I'm so happy at
I need
how.
to go to y'all channels because this is so intriguing. See, I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I am. My parents were married for 20 some years, and my parents raised me to be independent. My mother, even though she was married to my dad, she would be independent herself, and my dad wanted her to be that way. So I was blessed. The Lord blessed me where I had two parents who raised me my entire life. I didn't see these negative things. I was in the military, so I was kind of in the bubble a little bit too. So I didn't see a lot of these things
Mhm.
I didn't grow up. Well, I can say for certain some of these women didn't grow up that way. So their circumstances is how they became who they were. Like everyone's circumstances, of course. So I'm
Mhm.
blessed to say that, but not everyone was blessed that way. So they grew up maybe seeing their mom and dad fight and they got beat or whatever. So like you were saying, once they got to be an adult, that's all they knew. So what are they gonna do? Change from that? No, it's easier to go with what you're familiar with, even though you know it's bad for you. It's comfortable like a blanket, like I was saying earlier.
You know what I was
Mhm.
going to say is this: in the Canadian society, and I see it now in hindsight, and I can clearly articulate it. I noticed that from elementary school all the way up to whenever you want to start going to school, there is a systematic program in place to break down the people, to erode their sense of self, to erode their confidence. It's just a systematic program which constantly puts out this message: you are not to do anything independently. You need to move with a group of cowards, and you aren't supposed to advance further than the group is supposed to advance. And if you do that, we will ostracize you. And if you do that, we'll make jokes on you. And if you, after all of that, are successful and rich, now we'll come and be subject to you. It's a twisted way of thinking. If you
Oh
want to
my
be my
God,
enemy,
yes.
be my
Yes.
enemy. But
No, no,
don't,
no. That's true. Oh my God.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just like high school. It's true. All you know is people that become rich and have all the money are the kids who were ostracized and teased the entire time in school. If you're in school sitting in the cafeteria by yourself, you're like being made fun of. Like myself, I was always by myself at the table. I didn't always sit the group. But the ones who were all popular and were in a group, half the time are end up working for people who didn't want to be like that. And I
right.
just, that everything you just said is America. Period. It's so weird to me. Like you worried about, oh, well, Susan's by herself. She's weird. I'm gonna talk about her. Blah blah blah. This girl making good grades. She'd gone to college. She has a great life. You ended up pregnant at home. Whatever. Not really being successful, and you were only successful. You stopped your growth as far as at 12th grade. You were done. You was popular and great and all that, but then after high school, you didn't to be successful or do anything. So everything you just said was perfect. That is how America is, and that is horrible. It's worse now. From my kids say and everything, it's pretty bad in high school.
I
So
thought it was just Canada like that because that's what you
no,
see. Because
no, unfortunately.
there's this concentrated effort, especially to people who have outstanding skills. The mediocre people will work to destroy you. And first they start with the personal insults. Well, you're not really as good as you think you are, and all this nonsense. And they go through all of these different things, and it's always the insults, whether they are overt or covert. And then there's the isolation, and then from there you make it now, and then they want to come underneath you. These are the most disgusting people you can think of.
Let me interject just for 1 minute, just
Sure.
for 1 minute, not even that long. For anybody who's watching, I would appreciate a thumbs up or a thumbs down, just because then I know that you didn't like it or you did, and that makes it fun for me. And then if you don't like it a lot, write something in the comments. Go ahead and just say something negative. It's all good. Now continue, people. I just want to say put each other's mouth.
Charles, I swear.
And you know, the other thing that I find as a method to hold people back is the ridicule. If you are afraid of people running jokes on you, you need to find a way to get rid of that, because you won't be able to go forward if you're preoccupied with people running jokes on you. People are going to run jokes. And that's what oftentimes holds people back. A guy might say, you know what, I want to be a car salesman. The group is jealous of him and they run jokes. Why would you want to do that? Don't you know that's a loser business?
Oh, right. Well, you for one thing, whatever you're gonna do with your life, not to people in my life all the time, you are the only one that's lived this life, not everyone else. So they can give you advice all day, which is fine. If they tease you or make fun of what you're doing, if you believe what you're doing, then whatever they're saying means nothing. Because, like I said, if you fall on your face, you have to fall on your face, not everyone else. It's you. So, regardless of opinions about how you should do this, how you should do that, I'm not gonna do that, man. I'll ask my mom for advice or whatever. But if I have friends or anyone saying, "Hey, I don't think a good idea you should work there. That's horrible. That sucks." You don't know what can happen in my life, so I'm gonna do it regardless of what you think. If I screw up, I'm screwing myself up. I'm not screwing your life up or anything else. So why should it matter what I'm doing? You know that old school saying, "Sweep around your own front door before you sweep around mine." It's an old church saying here all the time. I didn't get it as a kid. As an adult, I do because people are so worried about everyone else's business, can't focus on their own, or they have none.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and I also wanted to add, like, it kind of reminds me of like when you get criticism from people about something you're doing, whether it's someone you're dating or a job or you or a certain color you're wearing, or I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like criticisms from people. You have people that criticize to constructively build you, and then you have those that are like nice, nasty with it. Like they'll give you a
My
compliment, but
God.
there would be like an underlying insult, and it's
Yes.
like, you know, it's an insult, but even like the nasty criticism, I take what I can from it because even though I don't agree with it or I don't like it, maybe there's something in it that I can use to better myself. So what I'll do is I'll kind of reverse it on myself and say, you know, I think this is nasty what this person said, but what is there any truth to it? And I'll take it and use it. But yeah, like to me, like when people do stuff like that, it just to me, that's my protection because it lets me know to stay far away from you as possible. Like,
Oh
you know?
yes, that's toxic. That's a toxic person that doesn't. And most likely, to be honest, if they're giving you that nasty sweet, most likely they probably think you're doing something good, and maybe they're upset they didn't think of it, or
Yeah, yeah.
they're afraid that you're going to become successful, and they are not. Most likely, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying. If it's sweet nasty, most likely that's more or less their feelings upon themselves or how they feel negative about them, and they're putting it on you, which is messed up.
Yeah, yeah, because I know like me on I've kind of like accidentally ran into gossip on YouTube about me and they call me crazy eyes because of the type of videos that I post. But do I care? No, I don't care. If you think
Oh
I'm
my God.
crazy, okay, good. Let me give you some more crazy.
YouTube is a perfect example because I feel like that YouTube is like really okay. It's really like toxic to me. When I first came on YouTube, I felt like I was a little kid, not literally, but saying I was like naive. I didn't really know about YouTube's ways, by people, and like what
Neither.
Charles was saying. I swear, to this day, I still feel naive. But Charles said earlier, he said something about, the ones that do the negative stuff. If you go to numbers, and I don't count numbers or anything, but on my channel, I'm pretty positive about working out, being healthy.
Hmm.
I don't see a lot of black YouTubers, or I'm just being honest, that are really into like health. I'm really into health. Look, on my life, I run. Okay. So I might not have 1,000 numbers on my views because if I go to another channel who's talking about, oh, I don't like the YouTuber. Oh, I can't stand YouTuber. Here, I got receipts to show you what they said on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? They got numbers like crazy. I don't even watch them. I don't want them on my feed. I always say I don't like it. I don't want to see
Yeah.
it. Look at it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Foolishness
I don't.
TV.
Yeah.
What you
Yeah.
say?
And I don't.
I
I'm
didn't hear what
sorry.
she said. I'm sorry. She said something. I didn't hear what she said.
Oh,
She
I
said,
said foolishness TV.
oh, I love
Sorry,
it.
continue.
Or the thing that I
Yeah, that's
noticed.
exactly what it is. I don't concern myself with negativity because I'm too busy over here being great. So it's like I don't even read the comments and stuff, especially like if I'm on a live stream. Now I've learned to not even really pay attention to the
Good
chat
girl.
feed.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you that. I've been on YouTube doing YouTube live stream panels, stuff like that, for about a year now. And I didn't know anything about YouTube either so much. Like I didn't know that people did real things on YouTube until like
Hmm.
about a year ago. I'm not even
Yeah.
kidding. I found the natural hair care movement like in we'll say like April. I found like Lovely Tea's channel, and then also it's like boom, there's all this stuff I didn't know. And I'll tell you something is, if I listen to all of the people who said terrible things about me constantly, I would never say anything. I would never get up on any panels, and I would never open my mouth, and I would never share what I know, what I've learned, both, personally and, through my studies in psychology and whatever. But, like, Neon just proved exactly why it is that I do what I do, why I started my channel, why I speak on the panels and whatever, because I hope at some point something that I say, something that, I share, whether it's personally about me, whether it's, me giving some advice or some, an opinion, through the psychology stuff, whether it's just honestly the fact that I got up on here and I'm just talking about something and, giving a differing opinion. And, like she just said, what you said to me helped, and it still helps. I still listen to it and it still helps me now. And, that is, at the end of the day, you got to realize that YouTube, you're going to get a whole lot of people saying all kinds of shit about you, and the people who disagree with you the most are going to be the loudest and the most vocal. People who don't like you and are hating on you or whatever are going to be the most vocal. And you're going to have a whole lot of people who are like, oh my God, I'm so happy to hear that voice. Oh, Neon Eyes is on again. Yes. Who are never going to say a word, but
Yep.
are going to cling
I am
to your
really happy
every
that I
word.
got to. I'm sorry, I mean, I'm really happy that I got to talk to y'all. I really want to go to y'all channels and because I haven't had a chance to really engage with anyone on YouTube. Charles, him and a few other people, they know how I am as far as my channel, and I don't have like a lot. I can learn a lot from y'all. I'm trying to say, as far as the panels and the discussions, and as far as people talking about me, I don't care about that. I never have. You can talk about me all day. I have locks in my hair. I'm an African American woman who exercises. I have a sister who's vegan. You know what I mean? When you go to my channel, you're gonna see exercising, track, fun stuff, whatever. But you're not gonna hear anything on my channel about Lockhead was talking about so and so's channel because you're not gonna ever see that on my channel. And if anyone comes to my channel with stuff like that, I remove them. I don't even deal with that. I don't deal with negativity. It's really unhealthy. To me, it drains the body. I
Yeah.
think it's pointless and a waste of time.
Uh,
So if YouTube to me should be a place where people can go express themselves or teach, do it yourself, whatever it is you can find on
yeah.
YouTube. I think it's for that, not for the messiness. It's not a soap opera. I
Yeah.
think
I
it's
agree.
turning more into daytime TV or Jerry Springer than it is YouTube the way it used to be like 10, 15 years ago when I used to watch
Yeah.
to find learn stuff or whatever.
I want to say
You
something
know
real
what
fast.
though?
Let me
Oh,
say something
sorry,
real
go
fast.
ahead.
It's real quick. I want to say I got some of the coolest, greatest ladies that I associate with on YouTube, and I'm happy to know them. And I think Classic Ruby, Neon Eyes. There's a lot of other great people, and some of them. And what I want is whoever has an opinion to feel free to come to my page and speak. And it shouldn't be abrasive and animosity. Like I will always say this to people. If you know me, I'm a joker. I like to laugh a lot and make people feel good. And I never try to be abrasive. But sometimes when people don't know you because they've been hurt, they come like they'll take you like you're the enemy. And I always want people to feel like I always want to hear what you got to say, and I'll always shut up to let you talk. And that's what it is. So hopefully I can get more people to come through, and even if they have like negativity, I let people that's trolls come on as long as they cool and they don't be abrasive. And when they get too abrasive, I'll shoot them and then I'll delete them. And when they want to behave, come on, because I'm the troll whisperer. I'm joking, but yeah, I don't take anything personal, really.
Yeah.
So I'm just really fortunate that if one person comes, I feel great. And even when I disagree with stuff, I'll still let you speak. And if it's really something I disagree with, I may say I disagree, but I'm not going to stop you because I want you to get your point across. So
Right.
thank you all for coming. I'm not about to end it. I'm just telling you just about me and how I feel. And I'm oblivious to anything anyone says because as long as you're not attacking my friends or attacking people that I love, I can take it. I'll be like Batman. I'll be the the guy that can take it so you don't have to. I'll be the villain. All right.
What was you saying?
People
Okay,
are
but
Go ahead.
Here, you know what? Not to interrupt. I want to put something out to all of the women on the panel. I'm going to give you a scenario, and I would like to get some information from you.
okay, wait, hold on. Just before you give your scenario, if I could just respond really
Sure.
quickly, just to the
Yeah, I want to
previous
hear
thing.
what is that. Yeah.
Um, I was just going to say this. Listen, I actually believe YouTube should be a place that everyone is able to come and do exactly what it is that they want to do. That is the point of YouTube. Is whether, it's about idiot tube. That's what I thought YouTube was about. Just, idiot tricks that go wrong and stuff like that. Or you want to be all about ratchet TV. That's really what you want about. Or you want to do your coonery. Or you want intellectual debate and conversation. You want to actually advance the Black community. Whatever it is that you want to do. Right? I mean, there are sectors, there are areas, subsets of YouTube where you know what, you can go do that, right? My issue is when crossover happens. Listen, if you want to be ratchet, go be in ratchet YouTube. There's a whole sector of them. Go be with them. You want to be a hoe? Go be in hoe YouTube. You want to be part of the sector of YouTube that's trying to advance our community and actually trying to improve it. Then be here. But don't be somewhere. Don't sit there and come and bring your negativity and bring your destruction and bring your self-hate cooning onto one of the channels that is actually about togetherness and empowerment for the Black community. That's the only place that I have an issue. I don't care. You want to be a coon, go be over there with the coons. There's a whole bunch of them. Y'all have your little subset, go be over there. Because if I silence them, and I have the right for them to be silenced, that means they have the right for me to be silenced. And I believe in free speech. I just don't believe you should freely be able to speak wherever it is you feel like speaking on YouTube. That is the point of YouTube, is I can come here and I can create a channel and I can manage what is or is not going to be here. So just like I don't care about the channel drama. I don't care about your YouTube content creator drama. I don't care about your drama, and your drama is not going to be on my channel, and I'm not trying to be on your channel if that's what you're about. Likewise, the cooning, the this, the that, whatever it is that y'all are doing that I don't agree with, it's not going to be on my channel. Not only am I not going to advertise it, but at the end of the day, if you try to bring that to my channel, I'm going to shut it down. Not because I don't think you have the right to speak it. You just don't have the right to speak it on my channel. That's all. But yeah, sorry.
No problem. So here's a scenario I'm going to put out. A woman and a man have been married for 30 years. They have 2 children. They have a house in Canada. And the woman is leaving, going back to England. They're both originally from England, but the woman is leaving and going back to England. My family is a family filled with gossip. They gossip all day and all night. Now, I've asked a number of people what's going on with this woman. She's a cousin of mine, an older cousin, and nobody wants to say what's going on. I know you guys aren't in the situation, but what are thoughts that come to your mind in that? 30 years, you're leaving, you're going back to England, and it appears as though she's not taking anything with her.
Okay, so that was going to be my question. You said they have 2 kids. How old are the kids?
Grown up, over 20.
Oh, they're over 20?
Yeah. 3 of them.
Is the husband
20.
going with her?
No.
Okay. So my initial thoughts would be this, that the marriage is unhappy. It's not working out. At the end of the day, but they've been married for so long. So probably from the time the kids left the house, she has been trying to get him to change, to engage, to do something different than has been working for 20 plus years. And he thinks the way, most men do after a certain age, like, what's your issue? This has been working just fine. But, she has empty nest syndrome. It's not working for her. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't want to divorce. Right? And she doesn't want to separate, go live in a new house here and there and whatever. Right. And she doesn't want to do that because she has the honor that most Jamaicans have where they separate and just live separately forever until they die. So what she's going to do is she's going to go back to England and go stay with some family and let it basically be a separation without separation. And then, be a divorce without divorce. That's what I think.
I agree with you on that. Or maybe she was unhappy the entire time and just waiting till the kids got grown and was like, look, I'm out. I'm just not happy. because it unfortunately that does happen where you're just not happy the entire time and you stay in a relationship for the children, especially if you're a traditional, come from the background like you're saying, divorce is not in the cards or whatever. So you're just like, I'm just gonna leave when the kids get to be a certain age, or if I just can't take it anymore, I'm just gonna go.
But it seems like she's leaving empty-handed. No, like I said, my family is a family full of gossips. Nobody's saying anything, and it would appear that the house and the other assets, she's not taking half of that.
Well, that's
No,
actually
because she's
weird.
not divorcing. It's not though.
Well, no, but hang on.
Not in our culture.
You said, well, no, it's not. Yeah, but you said she's not taking anything at all, or she's buying new things, or y'all just don't know what's going on.
She's just leaving. The only statement I heard through somebody, and it's been very tight wrapped, is she's leaving empty handed. That's it.
Yeah. Did she work?
Yes.
Okay. So this would be my thing. If she did work as well, but there's significant times that she wasn't working, for example, to raise the kids or whatever the case is. Then again, I'm going to fall back on our culture. In our culture, old school, they don't divorce. My grandparents on one side, I've never even seen them together, and I'm 34 years old. They have been separated for way longer than I've been alive, but neither one of them ever got into a serious relationship again. They didn't divorce. They're never going to divorce. They're never going to remarry. And, now when they're old, both of them with their little old Alzheimer selves and whatever, they still can't stand each other. But, now they'll be like, oh, I guess let's sit together on the couch for a picture or something. They're concerned about the health of the other person and whatever, because that's their spouse. They said till death do us part. And so even though, the marriage isn't working, and it can't work, and it's literally irreconcilable differences, they can't divorce. So, and that's what normally you do when you can't divorce. You're not running away. He's not beating you. This is not something you're scared of. But at the same time, it's not working out. You don't divorce, you separate. And when you separate, you do one of two things. You go back home, like back home Jamaica, or you go back home as into your root origins, sister, mother, if she's still alive, whatever. And you go and you spend time with family. And that time is just an extended stay, no return ticket. And that time just gets longer and longer and longer, until, one day, no, seriously, until one day the gossips tire themselves out. And then one day you have your own house, or you have your own this and that and whatever. And you might have a boyfriend on the side one day, that you'll call your friend, that you will never commit to, you will never live with, and whatever, because you're still married, and that's what you're going to do until you die. That's what I think.
I think some women sometimes get to a point in their lives where it's just like, I was in the corporate office the whole time. My hair was long and pressed out. And then they just turned 50 and like, look, I want to cut all my hair off. I want to get rid of all this stuff. I don't want to be this person anymore. I just want to just free myself. It could be something like that too. She may just want to just do her own thing and just wants to get away, like you said. Start, like you said, be separated forever. Have that little guy on the side or whatever that you're not going to ever be married to. It's just the guy on the side that everyone knows as your friend. And I'll do my air quotes, my friend. It just might be something she just wants to get away. Maybe she really was unhappy in the relationship and she just wants to start over. And she didn't even want any reminders of that life. Is why maybe she leave all her stuff behind. She wants to
no, because
over.
she's the one who's leaving. So in our culture, she left. He's not leaving. That's why I said he's not beating her. Nothing changed. There's no material change of circumstances. It's just at the end of the day, she put up with an unfulfilling, unhappy relationship because he was doing his duty as a father. She was doing her duty as a mother. They were working as a team. They don't have the team of kids. Let's try to have a relationship. He's not about that change. But at the end of the day, he didn't do anything wrong. So she's choosing to leave. So yeah, she's going to leave everything because she's the one who walked away from it. And so, you don't sit there and take half and divorce. And no, he doesn't owe you anything because he didn't do anything to you. Right? You're unhappy. So you walk with your long arms and you go go about your business because he doesn't have a problem. And at the end of the day, she could leave for 10 years and she could come back and he'll let her in. Because it's a weird thing in our culture. I just noticed that in the Jamaican culture, I mean, my other grandparents, both of them had a friend while they were married, but they hated each other. They always did. Now that they're separated, again, they're never, ever, 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 ever going to divorce. Now that my grandmother's friend found Jesus and kicked her out of his bed. And so now she had to sleep on the couch. Then my grandmother's friend actually got brain cancer, unfortunately. And after like a 7-year battle, he died. And so she didn't have anywhere to live anymore. And where did she live? She went back and moved in with my grandfather, who took her back in because that's his wife. And now my grandmother has breast cancer. It's a relapse. And she is staying with her friend Bev and whatever. And who do you think is paying her bills? My grandfather, right? Because that's his wife. So it's a different type of mentality. Like, you can't look at it from a Canadianized or a Westernized mentality. There's just a very weird, strange, different mentality. But when you said married 30 years, I'm like, oh, they're old school. Easy. They're separating without separating.
I can see that happening even here in this society. She's like, because these days, I'm like, I'm tired, I'm done, I'm out. I could see that happening here, as far as in a USA. I could see myself thinking about myself when I was married to this man for 20 years and I was unhappy and I wasn't in love with him. And out the blue, I just decided to tell him, we're not going to be together. I'm not happy after 20 years. And I actually did that. I just completed a 180. And I have not been more happier in my entire life. I'm living with my mother, and since my dad died, my mom, myself, my children, and I'm happier this way. I wasn't happy for 20 years of my life. So,
nice.
Yeah.
This is
I chose to, I had to get out of this unhealthy. He wasn't doing anything wrong to me, or beating me or anything like that. It's just, he's 20 years old.
Interesting conversation. This is so interesting because it shows you how different people in different cultures and different environments view marriage and relationships. And I think that more people should hear just this part in itself, because so many people, I think men and women have such a different view of it. So like a lot of ladies, marriage is their ultimate goal, but a lot of ladies and men see it differently. So a lot of men, this is my perspective, when it comes to marriage, they're always thinking, okay, this woman's going to be with me forever and it's going to work out. And I'm not saying all people, but in different cultures, some women will never divorce, but other people will leave in an instant. And even though I don't know what women think, but a lot of men are scared of marriage because of it, because they don't want to lose. You understand what I mean by that? They would. I think more men would rather you would leave them than divorce them, and that's just my opinion. And I would love to have a dialogue about this.
No, I agree. I think men would rather you just leave. I know that for a fact, because men have, he told me that. So I completely agree that they'd rather you just, walk out and leave instead of going through the whole divorce. Because like, you have that little bit to hold on to. Hey, 20 years, I may not ever be with you again, but at least we're still married. So I still got you a little bit. You divorce me and it's like paper is like paper. Oh, but we really are. It's final. Like, your name is different. Everything. We're, it's over. I pay for my own divorce.
I think that even though men really won't admit it, a lot of men are more emotionally crushed by a woman leaving them than a woman is crushed by a man leaving. I mean, because when men give in, when they do, a lot of men give their whole soul to ladies. And I don't know if ladies know it or not, but a lot of men, I have friends that wanted to like commit suicide over losing a woman. And I don't really hear that many women say stuff like that. You mentioned.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say. I mean, honestly, women do actually commit suicide over those things. Yeah, but I think what I remember having a similar conversation with BGS, and so what BGS was saying, it was when we had a guest on a Friday night panel. I can't remember who it was, but I remember BGS saying the thing is that on average, everyone needs grieving time to let go of relationships and whatever. And what normally happens is when things start going wrong in a relationship and whatever, men already start grieving. They already take one foot out of the relationship normally, and they start grieving and they stay because, they're like, oh, well, maybe we can fix it. But they're already grieving and they're already going through the process of leaving. Whereas in women will stay until the bitter end. And so it's not until the moment of the breakup that the woman goes, oh my God, we're not going to work out. Until that moment, she thought they're going to be able to fix something. Whereas in the man, at that moment, that was the moment where he took the other foot out. He was already done. Both her feet are still in. And so she normally has an incredibly toxic and overt emotional response that lasts a lot longer. She needs closure, this and that. Whereas the man's normally like, eh. Now, I think the difference is that when those roles are reversed, and so the woman has already had one foot out, and she was the one who was emotionally grieving while still in the relationship, so she's getting closure the whole while. And he was sitting there until the bitter, bitter end, being like, yeah, but this is my wife. Of course, we're not going to break up, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't have the same social permission to fall apart and to bawl and to cry and to lie on his couch sobbing
Eat
and
ice
don't
cream.
shower for 2 weeks and whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
emotionally he's not allowed to be a girl basically, but
Okay.
because that's the way we see it. So because he has no outlet for that type of sudden emotional trauma, I think that's why you will see them kind of just quietly slip into suicide one day or something like that, because they don't have the ability to healthily vent. No one taught them how to healthily vent anyway. And if they wanted to healthily vent, someone would tell them they're acting like a girl, so stop it.
Yes.
I hear you.
So
Yes.
Let me say,
yeah.
you know what? I really want to. I'm not going to dive in, but I'm going to have a hangout on this. I'm going to think about how to phrase it, and we're going to do this because I think I got a different view. I'm not saying my view is correct. I just think it's maybe different, and I would love to elaborate on a different. But I really enjoy listening to your analysis, Ruby, because you always impress me with it.
Well, I have to
Thank you.
admit that I agree with Ruby as far as men are not allowed to be girls. Maybe maybe people don't like that statement, but it's actually true. Men are not allowed to have any kind of feminine nothing. If they're going through something that you see the little boys. As a mother, I've done this myself, so I can't even just. I'm guilty. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. I told my daughter the same thing. Be strong, don't cry, don't cry. And so imagine boys telling them don't cry, and they grow up and something happens, trauma happens, they're like, okay, well, I've always was taught, don't cry, don't, get emotional. So you hold all that in for a long time. And when it does come out, it's very unhealthy, it's very toxic, it's very dangerous. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
what Ruby said is very correct in her assessment that, men are not allowed to grieve. Women do. Women will go 2 weeks and got the ice cream, and when the girl come over, I'll come sit with you. Don't take a shower. Stay in the house, cry, grieve, blah 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 blah, and then she's done with it. Not completely, but she has the time to grieve, which a man does not. They have to. They
Women can
boys
do that
say
for months. They can sit there and call every friend they know every single day drunk and cry about how she's gonna kill herself every day.
right.
And men can't do that. Who are they doing that to? That it's gonna be like anything other than seriously, bro. What's with the drama? You need to pull yourself together, and that's gonna be
Right.
the end of the response they get, right? Like, who are they turning to?
Look, all of a sudden the guys are like, I've heard guys say this. Oh man, we haven't heard from TJ like for like 2 days, man. I'm finna go get him out of there. He's acting crazy. He's acting like a little girl. Knocking on the door, man. Cut the light on. Open the blind. Take a shower. Let's go out. Let's go find some hoes or whatever. Something like that's not sharing. Then that one night you're good. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, you know what? There's no viral videos of women crying because a man left them, but there are a few of men bawling their eyes out because a girl cheated on them or broke their heart or left them. And it's just people laughing because he was sitting there sobbing with snot running down his face. And his friends who he turned to, and he's sitting there slumped in a ball, bawling his eyes out, and his friends who he turned to, bawling his eyes out, are recording him laughing because this is pathetic to them.
right.
And then they post it, and the
Right.
world laughs at him. So, I mean, that goes to show you that at the end of the day, this is why, at the end of the day, you're going to see what seems like, well, men take it a lot harder. It's not that they take it harder, it's just that they have no outlet. They don't
wait
get to
too
take it
long.
at all.
They held that
Yeah.
chapter too doggone long. That's what that is. And their friends, to me, their friends are so. I don't never you recording all that, but yet if the scenario was reversed, you would do the same exact thing. So I think that's so foul that you're recording the dude crying and carrying on, and then the next week it happens to you, and you're doing the same exact thing. I just think it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I think it should be more support. If a guy's upset because his girl left him, and yes, they take it, we take it hard, but men take it hard a different way. Like these men will, you hear these men try to kill the girlfriend because she's dating somebody else. To me, I'm like, get over it. We moved on. But I can't believe she's messing with such and such. I watched these stories on TV One about 'cause I like to watch stories where you don't hear a lot of news about black women getting killed. You just really don't. It gets buried under the news and whatever. So I watch these different scenarios, and almost every one of them is about a man who has a girlfriend. The girl leaves, and then he kills her. He has another wife, kids, the whole scenario. But just because she doesn't want to be with him anymore, he takes her life. So to me, men they take it very hard compared to a woman. I just, it's a difference.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
just
that men's responses are allowed to be aggressive. It would be less shameful for a man to turn around, grab a gun, get angry, and shoot their heads off. That's perfectly rational and reasonable
Right.
versus sitting there and sobbing like a girl and saying, I can't hold my feelings in, right? Because again, socially, it's okay for a man to react to every feeling by fighting it out. That's normal. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to aggressively react, and then once it's done, you suck it up and you're done.
Yeah, you know what? I just don't understand the fact that you're gonna kill somebody and lose your whole life for a relationship. That you can't then you're the selfish thing to me is that some of these men you're already in another relationship, married with kids, the whole nine. Now you're going to jail for 20 some years for killing your ex because she was with somebody else.
It's
I mean,
true.
I'm sorry. I
It's not logical, but guys will do that. And one of the things I find is that guys will have these feelings and harbor them for decades. A
yeah.
person can leave,
Yep.
and 15 years later, he turns up. And every day for 15 years, he's been brewing and this and that. Here's something that I would say. They say a lot of things about, let's say, black men being incredibly aggressive and this, and everybody's on the lookout for the angry black man. But you know who is very wild? It's that guy who's on the fourth floor in accounting, that white guy who has been passed up for promotion, or that Asian guy, year after year after year. When those guys flip out and nobody's looking at them,
Yep.
they can wreak some havoc. Generally, a black guy will be upset, curse you out, maybe knock you down, whatever, and that's that. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
But these guys, they will sit and they'll brew 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And when they react, whew,
Oh yeah, that happened here in Texas. That guy that he something small happened to him, like some job situation. And it was so small I can't even remember what it was, but I remember he got up and planned it over months, I think a year. A year he planned it. Went to the place he used to work at and shot up the place. And a newspaper. I'm thinking it was a newspaper. And I'm still saying to myself, you waited years and planned this. And I don't care what the wife says, I think she knew. Planned this, booked the place across the street, had it all set up, and no one, they all was like, oh, I just couldn't believe it. He didn't even look like he would do that. Those are the ones, like you were saying, that are going to do that. But no one is checking for them. I guess I can say it like that.
right,
They're, they're going to assume it's the angry black man or the angry black, well, remember, we're angry too. Not just men, but
right.
women are also angry. Remember that. So
But
I want
it's based on provocation. The black guy frowns and they're all afraid.
yeah.
People need to knock off this fear of black people. Like it's become so ridiculous. You go some places and they're like spooked out like ghosts. They see the black man and they're running. Oh my God, it's a black man.
Oh
Like,
my God.
relax.
You
Well,
think
to
this
be
is
honest with you, I would take an angry, obviously angry. Well, I would take any black man over any white man. But I'm saying that when you take an angry person, someone who's visibly angry, so you can see the emotions on their face and they're expressing those emotions, that person is a lot more safe than the person who's inscrutable. You can't tell what they're feeling. They seem to be really tightly knit.
Right,
They seem to have no feelings because that person has just as much feelings as everyone else. The
right,
difference is it's like a cauldron. There's a tight lid on it. One
oh
day
yeah,
it's going to explode, and
like
they
a
have
volcano.
they don't know how to yell and scream it out. So you know what they're gonna do? Again, yeah, they're gonna grab the gun, very calmly polish it up, and very calmly walk into that office and
Yes,
gun down 50 people.
yes.
Right? They don't care because they don't know how to yell and scream. I would take the angry black man yelling and screaming at me any day of the
And
week.
you ain't never learned about that. I would take that as well. But the thing about it, like he was saying that the mentality they were angry, they were scared of black people. if we was look at history and the minute time we were screwed by white people, we should be afraid of them.
That's right.
I'm being honest. From the time of slavery to everything other done to segregation, why are we afraid of them? Why is it they're afraid of us? We've done nothing to them. They've done everything to us.
That's why they're terrified of us, because they know what they have done. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like when you know that you deserve for someone to come for you. Like you did something really messed up, you deserve for someone to come for you. Suddenly you start feeling paranoid. Not even guilty, paranoid. You're paranoid that around every corner someone's trying to screw you over because you just screwed someone else over. That's why they don't want to become the minority, as in not the majority. That's why they are trying to make sure everybody's clicking white, because they want to make sure that there's still the appearance of them being the majority, because they are terrified of what they will do, what everyone will do, especially Black folk, the second they're a minority and they no longer have the majority rule.
Right.
Right? Because they know what they did when they had the power. And they know that the minority, who was already stronger than them, smarter than them, faster than them,
without the education,
and more powerful than them, exactly. They already know all of that about their greatest, both victim and enemy, to them lording over this power. So that's why they're terrified. They are terrified because they look and they're like, oh God, the second I know what I would do.
Let me dive in for a little bit, because you asked the question, why are people not scared of white people? But I'm gonna explain. What does a cop look like? What does a superhero look like? What does a criminal look like? The criminal looks black, the superhero looks white. So are you scared? The hero's supposed to save you. So why would you be scared of the hero? You know what I mean? Media imagery is why people are afraid of Black people so much, and why when you look at white people in general, you don't have fear, because they're the good guys. Black is bad, white is good. And that's just how we look at things. When it's dark, when it's black, the black cat, you avoid those things. Oh, white is angelic. White is the color of God. So come on, I'm just using these. That's all media marketing. And once you are programmed that something is wrong, I can say this, and I've always said this, and this is not to be negative to anybody. If you see a black man in some Dickies and a white T-shirt with a hat, he's a game man. If you see a white man in some Dickies and a white T-shirt and a hat, he's a skater. So that tells you a lot about media marketing and how people view things. And I'm not trying to bash anybody. It is what it is. And that's
it's implicit bias. And
let me say one more thing. And that's why so many people, even whatever, we're gonna talk about Black Panther. I'm not gonna go deep in it, but so many Black people love Black Panther because of the imagery of seeing Black people not be the worst group. Even though they didn't, who was the savior in Black Panther? We do know who it was. It was the U.S. government, but it still gives you.
It was kind of close, huh?
You got to look at who the savior was. Who the FBI agent, the CIA agent comes in. They don't let nobody else in, but they let him come. He saves everything. Right. Exactly. So I'm just using that example of why so many people. When you never see Black people shown in the Cosby Show. That's why it was so iconic, because it was showing Black people educated and have a family structure that was calm, and they weren't dope dealers. They're exactly. Look, I'm done. Look what happened after Bill Cosby tried to make a power move. What happened?
Yes, he got in trouble. And the thing about it, I grew up. My life was like Bill Cosby. I mean, not like. I'm sorry. The way the scenario was put in the TV show. I grew up that way. My dad was in the military. My mother worked as manager. So I had a great life. So when I was around with young ladies who were not raised in this that type of environment, I would clash with them a lot of the times. Yes. I did, because you're not Black because you didn't grow up in the hood, or you're not Black because the way you speak. My dialect has nothing to do with my Black skin.
That's right.
Understood that. I'm sorry. I mean, I went to private
You know what,
schools.
though? It's the implicit bias. And this is the thing. So they're using something that is built into our brains called implicit bias, right? And what they are doing is, so it doesn't matter what on the surface you think you believe. And you might honestly, on the surface, you might honestly believe that no, all people, Black people aren't any worse than white people or whatever. And these are actually biases that many of us have against our own without realizing that we do. And that's the thing, like Charles is saying, everything from the media, but before there was media, stories. So even our fairy tales. And I actually wrote a project, and my professor asked me year after year if she can continue using it. So, the bias of Snow White, who is the fairest in the land. Now, not only was she the fairest, she was, you have the wicked, evil stepmother who was darker, obviously.
Right.
And Snow White, who was fairest.
Yeah.
So the whiter you are, the purer you are. The whiter you are, the nicer you are. The darker you are, the scarier you are. The darker you are, the more evil you are. And so, the project that I wrote, I called it Inky Black. And I literally just took the story of Snow White and I wrote it for Black children. So I literally, not only did I just say, oh, well, who is the darkest in the land, and made that a good thing. No. What I did was I praised the dark skin and, our hair growing up to the sky and, all of our different features, and explained those features and what their functionality was and why everyone was so jealous of Inky Black. And so, and it's this concept that doesn't exist in fairy tales. In fairy tales, even from, as back as 1400, you keep going back. What is being programmed in? That, darkness is evil, whiteness is purity. The whitest, fairest, blondest, blue-eyedest one in the land is the sweet one, is the most gentle, is the most caring, is the most kind, is the most compassionate, blah, 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 right? And it's something that is so the mentality of not just us as far as North Americans, but as far as Europeans, that it's not something that can be broken. The bias is built in even in the most well-intentioned of families, even in our own families.
Yes,
even if we want to take our children and say, hey, listen, Black community only, Black programming only, this and that. It's programmed in now at this point, unfortunately, where when we see a picture and there's a quick snapshot. And so there's a Black kid in a hoodie, there's a white kid in a hoodie, there's a woman looking scared on a train, there's another woman on a train smiling, and there's a knife. And it's a quick flash. And what people remember, it doesn't matter the race, what people remember is that the white kid and the woman smiling are sitting talking to each other on the train. And then there's a Black guy, and he's probably going to rob the scared woman because he's got a knife. And the story's actually exactly flipped. The white kid has the knife. The Black kid is sitting there smiling and talking to the other woman who's smiling. That's how far the implicit programming goes. Like, we see it completely differently.
That's why it's so important that the people continue to make these videos and record them in these racially motivated acts. Anytime they do these things, it's important that people record them and put it out there so that these people back up on their nonsense. Because what I find really astonishing is this. Okay, you have a problem with Black people. Fine. That's how you've decided to live. Stop coming around other Black men and trying to mix with them. That's what I have to say. You have a problem with them. You know your father is an old school racist. Stop the nonsense. Try and stay with your own type of people if that is the situation. I'm not telling people that they can't date other types of people, but what I'm looking at is the hypocrisy of it. You're in this situation. You're concerned about your numbers. Keep your people to yourself. I'm not saying that, you know what, I can control who dates who, because ultimately people are going to make their choices. But if you have such a problem from a racial point of view, why are you getting involved with all these other people? And the other thing I'll mention is, here in Canada, I noticed this. The racist will be your next door neighbor, hate you to death. But morning, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Right. And it becomes a stage where it's like, get out of my face. You get to a stage where you'll become openly disrespectful and you don't care because the other person doesn't respect you either. but he's playing these nasty little games, just things like that that I
Well,
really
yeah,
find
I don't like
annoying.
those games either. If you don't like me, don't please don't be in my face. Don't do
Right,
that whole good morning and asking about my life like you care, and you know good and well that you do not. You don't care about what the hell
right.
I'm doing, and you don't care what I have a coffee for breakfast or how my kids are doing. Don't do that. Just stay in your area. Now, I don't want to just honestly, I think it's horrible to think that because you don't like a certain race that you cannot I guess change because just because you were raised and to say, oh, we're all black people are just inherently evil or bad or thieves or blah blah whatever. Well, I try to change that. I can even remember when I was younger and I worked at a fast food restaurant. And if you go to fast food places, and I'm not trying to be funny, I'm not trying to say they're all like that, but if you got a black woman in the window, you got to get that look, can I help you or whatever. And so when I would do these jobs, I always went in there like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I would be in the window and I would notice that when a white person would come through a drive-through and I'd be like, good morning, how are you? Can I do for you? Blah blah. Oh, how are you? I saw you Tuesday, blah blah. And they would always be like, oh, you made my day, you're awesome, whatever, whatever. But then a black person would come to my drive-through and I would do the exact same thing. I wouldn't change nothing. And their attitude would suck the whole time. And I would literally give it my best first, everything else to change that mentality that all black women have an attitude, whatever, don't want to be at work. And women will give me this attitude. And I feel like there's some things in ourselves that we can change as far as, just personally in ourselves. And I was trying really hard. I gave up after a while. I was 15. And I'm still nice people. I'm not gonna just be outright rude to people. I'm not gonna do that. But I just don't get it. Why is that? They know we all know that they have this thing about black women that we all have attitude. So
No, but
why is
here,
that collectively
oh,
we can't change? I'm sorry, I have to say why collectively as black women we can't change that. I hate that. I got told this recently. Oh, I don't want to get that black woman attitude. I literally went off on this guy for like 15 minutes because he told me that. I literally hate that. I do not think every black woman is angry. I do not think that. But they think that about us. Everyone does, including black people.
well, here's the thing. You made a good, you gave a very good scenario how you dealt with the two different types of people equally. The thing is that many black people are coming from a situation in which they have a lot of different problems to deal with, a lot of provocation, a lot of things that haven't worked out in their lives. Whereas the other people are coming from a different environment. It's like every day I'm pricking you. Every day I'm insulting you. Your attitude is going to be different from a person who's being validated every day. Your attitude is going to be different from a person who is getting their way. So when I hear these arguments where they talk about, oh, the black woman has an attitude, it's absolute garbage. It's based on the
Yes.
things that they have been through. And there's too much focus on, oh, there's the attitude. But what is the root cause? What is the cause of the
But you know what though?
dissatisfaction? Go ahead.
You know what though? I have a completely different actually perspective on this. And first of all, the first thing that I'll say is this is that we have gotta dip into my psychology terms because that's me, I can't help myself.
That's fine.
Confirmation bias, right, which is basically so you believe something, all black women are angry.
Okay.
And then what happens is that the only things that you tend to remember and notice in the environment are things that confirm that your belief, black women are angry, is true. So you're only going to notice all the black women that you encounter that are angry, that have the bad attitude. What you're not going to remember at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, are all of the black women who didn't have an attitude, of all the black women who weren't angry.
Well, no,
So
I have to. Okay, now I'm sorry. I mean,
hold on. So
okay.
it's two things combined. So again, and the thing is, the problem with a lot of these things is that in and of itself, like unless you like filmed it and then went back, like it would be very hard to, because confirmation bias is a very real thing. It's something that we all do. If we really believe something is true, we're not doing it on purpose. We're not sitting there and saying, oh well, I'm going to intentionally disregard. We literally don't remember them. They literally don't, because they're not confirming our bias. It literally passes past us, and it's like we just missed it somehow. But you combine that with a second thing, which is that what we are doing is we are judging black women and their level of angriness and aggression and attitude on not a black woman's scale. as in we are comparing ourselves, and whether we realize this or not, and people are comparing us to white women. And so they are saying, in comparison to white women, black women are angry. In comparison to white women, black women are aggressive. In comparison to white women, black women are this, black women are that. And so, you know what? In comparison to black women, maybe just on a baseline level, we are. Because, you know what? Listen, we come from hundreds of years of slavery. Where we were bred, all of our softness and our tenderness and our whatever was bred out, literally, because the soft and the tender died. So there's that, but there's also the fact that at the end of the day, we are just not the same. So we can't continue to measure ourselves and our attributes and whatever based on other people's attributes. Right? The Asian people, they don't measure their females, their women's attributes based on anyone's attributes but their own. They don't give a shit what we think, whatever, and they're not measuring and saying, well, in comparison to the white women, you are this, or in comparison to black women, you are this. They're comparing their women to their other women, and that's it. And that's something that we don't do, and because we don't do it, it gives a permission for everybody else to do this and then say it's a valid thing to do. And I don't think it's a valid thing to do at all whatsoever.
It's definitely not valid. And the white woman is no standard for anyone but themselves. Point blank. Nobody should aspire to look like a white person that isn't white. And that's it. They aren't any form of standard for anything. And the things that occur and the comparisons, you know, and I think that there's now a massive competition between the black woman and the white woman. Because if you look at the white woman today, what is she doing? She's trying to emulate the black woman with all of these different surgeries, from the anti-aging nonsense where she's doing Botox. You know, she's approaching 30 and she looks like 60. You've got all of these different injections they're doing.
They're even doing melanin injections.
Right.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh my God, that is so true.
And it's
melanin injection.
They're laying out in the sun.
Like white chocolate or something.
Yeah, they're laying out in the sun. They're getting themselves burnt. There's one particular woman at the gym that I go to. Her face, I can't figure out how old she is. If that woman is in her 40s, that is a disgrace because she looks like she's in her 70s. Her face has more lines than the concrete on the road, like the concrete on the driveway. There's no comparison. You cannot compare any other type of woman to the black woman because the black woman will be 60 and look better than a lot of women, even at 30.
That's facts. That's
25, yeah.
That's why they want that melanin. But what I wanted to say earlier was I feel like I was in a bubble as far as being a young black woman because I didn't experience, you know, as far as all of us, as far as being black, white, whatever, we was a minority because growing up in the military, people come from everywhere, all kind of countries or whatever. So I didn't feel like that until I got out of my dad got out of the military, left the state, overseas, and I came back here. And I was surprised by it because I was not used to that. I didn't look at it as everyone black woman is going to be angry because I didn't see that.
Right.
You know, it was different for me. I was raised around so many different cultures that, you know, like I said, it went till I got older and I was like, oh, wow. And I still wanted to go against it, which is why I always try to prove that point that it's not true. I don't think that black women are inherently just straight angry. They may have a lot of passion, I will say that, but I do not think that they are just straight angry. And like you said, too, both of y'all, I think the life that we live, you come off of somewhere because you having a hard life. Maybe like you said, you know, the white person has a better life, but coming from a happy life or whatever. But I also ran to black women who came through my drive-through. They were extremely polite, nice, never had a bad thing to say. And I knew they were my regular customers. When you're at a fast food restaurant, I'm not sure you said about the testing, the theory you were talking about earlier. When you're at a fast restaurant, you constantly seeing the same people. Unfortunately, because it's bad food for you, so you know America eats it. Day in and day out, I have the same people coming through. So you do remember faces, you do remember names because it's a constant thing. You work there every 3 or 4 days or whatever in a row. So, you know, I did get to notice, I did my own situation testing it, and I felt like that we were a little bit more angrier, but not everybody was that way. I just felt like, why did it have to be like that at all? If someone's coming to you in a polite way, being courteous or whatever, not giving you attitude, serving you your food the way you want it, giving you good service, why is there attitude? And I would say that about any race, because I encountered a lot more white women that were more angry than a black woman in the drive-thru with no truth about it. I'm just being honest. It was more
Well,
white
and
women getting mad at me.
that's the point, right? And this is where I said, I'm like, at the end of the day, why should anyone be angry or ignorant or whatever? Fine. But what it comes down to is, now, first of all, is, rather than saying the word angry, right? Because angry is something that's attributed to us or whatever. But let's just look at overall negative attitude. Because negative attitude could be sounding sweet as cherry pie, but being condescending as shit,
Ooh,
right?
yes,
So,
right. Shame.
right, and here I like to call it in the GTA, I like to call it the all powerful white woman syndrome.
Wow.
Where the white women aren't angry at you because they expect that they're going to make ridiculous demands and you're going to meet them.
Right.
They don't get angry because something went wrong, because they're going to come in and tell you all what a bunch of morons you are, sweet as pie, and then demand to speak to your manager and get everything for free. And that's what they expect for life to do, is hand them that. That's a terrible attitude to have. I don't care if you come in and yell at me or you whatever. Like, if your attitude sucks, your attitude sucks, right? And the thing is that what we need to realize as well, and LMP touched on that, is our life experiences, our training, our evolutionary history, everything is going to inform what negative behavior, what our particular negative behaviors are. So it's like, I think kind of like you figured out, well, yeah, mostly people through drive-thrus, not overall pleasant people. Just for some reason, you go through drive-thru, you're just, I don't know, it's so hard for you to smile and say thank you and please and understand that mistakes happen. Okay. But now if you were to sit there and you were to compare a percentage, how many percentage-wise of white women, how many percentage-wise of Asian women, how many percentage-wise of Hispanic women, how many percentage-wise, what would you then really find? Right. And that's where I say that the discrepancy comes in with the confirmation bias is, even if you remembered all of the black women, good versus bad or whatever, but did you remember all of the white women, good versus bad? Were there times that people, including yourself maybe, understood the white woman's attitude, or the white woman's anger or whatever? Because, well, I mean, yeah, but she was put in a situation where we did screw that up pretty bad. Did we excuse the behavior and the anger and the whatever, or see it as even reasonable and justified? Whereas we never give black women that understanding, despite the fact that they more than deserve that understanding because we screwed up their order. You know what I mean?
True, no, I do. I get that. I've seen managers do that, and I've taken up issue with that with them, because I'll see them do the same scenario, like you said, that both the women were angry and both different races, maybe said differently, but they both were mad, and the reason they were mad were legit reasons, but the way they reacted was horrible. But you were toward the white woman in a completely different way, and with the black woman, like, before she even walked up, I don't even want to deal with her. It's like, wait, I don't understand that. She can't hear you say that, but I can. I said, I have a problem with that. Well, it doesn't matter. She can't hear me. Well, I heard you, and I've had issue with that with managers in my youth, but I didn't have to work. This is my mom and dad, so I can say I wasn't the manager. But I took problems with that. It's like, dude, you're talking noise about this lady. She can't hear you. You haven't even gone to the window to see, ma'am, what's your problem? We did screw her order up, just like that last lady. But why is she getting a different treatment? You haven't even talked to her yet, and you're talking noise. I would get so mad about that. Oh man, I don't know what she had to say. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Right. And but that's how the bias is built, right? There's so many different, it's not just one thing. It's not just the fact that, the media tells us this. It's not just that, whatever. So many factors are coming into play that are building this caricature of black women.
Also black men
too. Yeah, and black men, exactly.
And black men, yes.
right? Black men are all angry and violent and this and that. They all carry guns. They're all wanting to kill you. That look in their eyes, yeah, every single look in their eyes, it all means they're gonna kill you, right? Like it's just like
They all
wait,
want your
what?
wife.
Yeah, they're all yeah, and you think about it, and you think about how ridiculous some of the assertions are, and yet you know what? Everyone buys into it, hook, line, and sinker.
But
And you know,
I was going to say,
you,
but there are times where people have to really put them into their place, and there are times where they need to be checked straight out. And if they feel bad about it, so be it. Because there are times where people have to say, like, there are times where I've had to say, you know what? You need to speak like you have some intelligence. Because the racism that you're exhibiting right here in front of me, I'm not going to tolerate it. There are times they need to be taken to task. And it's funny how after they've been disciplined, they try and pretend to be friendly. And at that stage, you don't want anything to do with them.
Right. They
mm-hmm,
wonder why you're not talking to them anymore at work. I don't have nothing to
Right,
say to you unless it's about this job. Please don't speak to me, please. I have to tell them that. If it's not about my work and what I'm doing here, or time for me to leave or go or approve my vacation, we don't need to have this conversation about anything.
right. And then
yeah,
you're confrontational and standoffish and all the other garbage.
exactly.
Yeah, all the other
Exactly.
garbage. You're this, you're that, you're the other, because you stood up for what is correct. And what I don't like is you're right and they're trying to make you look wrong. And they're wrong and they're trying to make themselves right. And what I realize is that the vast majority of people out there are very stupid. They don't
Oh
have
yeah.
intelligence. Oh, there have been reports about you and the other coworkers. What are they? I was at a place one time like that where the guy had said the property manager is upset. I said, about what? And he frizzled out. I said, about what? Put down the problems that she is having in terms of what's going on. He frizzled right out there. Too long people have been able to get these positions and bluff. And that's why
Oh,
a lot of these
yes.
companies are in the toilet. Bluff. Mr. Donaldson is regional manager. Can't even write his name. Get out of here.
Well, the manager I was telling you about, I guess he called himself going to the other manager, the big manager, and so I politely went to them and said, let me let you know something because I really do think that you think that I'm not intelligent. So if you go to the manager speaking about me, because the things that I saw you do at that window was really, against the book as far as being respecting the individual and stuff like that. So if you were to go to the manager, I'll take both of y'all's name. I'll go to HR. And believe you me, HR will want to hear all of this. And when it comes at the
Right.
end of the wash, I won't be the one without a job. So go ahead and continue with the whispering and going to other managers and try to treat me differently. Because I'm gonna document everything you're doing and I'm gonna take it to the higher power. If you think I won't do it, you go ahead and test me. From that point on, never had a problem. Never. It was
Because they
good.
had been put in their place. That's the thing that has to happen. And the problem is that we have to constantly be putting these fools in their place if we don't own the organization. If you own the organization, just kick him out. Get out of here.
Um, all right.
Yeah.
This is my belief. Most people need to find some way, and I don't have the answers. This is a hypothetical, and if I say find, most people need to find a way to become financially free, to become economically solvent. And the best way to do that is to work together as a group. But the problem is trying to get people to work together and work for a common goal. And I don't have the answers to it because I have a network and it's starting to come together, but it's still difficult. And that's why whenever I've had to work for anyone, I've always tried to say, I'm here by choice. I'm not going to let nothing get to me. And I need to have an exit plan if stuff doesn't go my way. And that's the way I look at it. And I try my best to, if at all possible, to stay away from any type of employment drama. And it's almost unavoidable. But
Oh
as
my
long
God,
as I
yes.
kept that philosophy and as long as I kept trying to strive to become financially free and economically solvent, is seemed to be able to work in for my advantage. And that's just my unsolicited advice that I would tell everybody. And at this time, right now, today, the internet is such a ultimate, or I shouldn't say ultimate, that's not a good word to use, but it's such a great platform to get marketing, to sell products, to connect with people, and to find like-minded individuals with which you can build with. And that's why I love opportunities like this when I can dialogue with people and learn and grow And that's why a lot of times I'm quiet because I want to listen to other people's perspectives just to learn. And that's pretty much all I got to say.
Yeah, it's a very good point. And it's a
Very
point that
good.
needs to be stressed over and over so that people can get it through their brain, because in a lot of these environments, you really have no backup. Even over here, there's something called the labor board. The labor board is just a waste of time. If you have any employment issue, the labor board just sits there and laughs. Nothing comes out of it. So they can kick you around, they can disrespect you, they can do all these things. And if you try to take them to court, the lawyer fees bleed out everything, and you end up with nothing. So the workplace is really like what Charles said. You have to be able to get your finances together and set it up in such a way that you can be independent. So I always suggest do not get caught up in the back and fools. Like, I'll give you a quick example. When I started working at a company years ago, there's a guy who had spent 20 years at the company, and they offered him a package, and he didn't want to take the package, but he took the package anyways, and they kicked him out. Those are the things that happen. Kick you straight out.
Wow.
Use
Wow.
you for everything you've got and kick you out. You're a person up in your 50s, 60s, and you thought that you had some more time in there. Not a chance. Package you off, kick you out. Simple as that. And a lot of people just don't get that message that it's all for themselves. You don't matter. I've seen situations in which people hang out every single day at companies, and the same people they hang out with fire them.
Mm,
Fire them off the top.
that's horrible, man.
Yeah, they do those things.
I
They do
believe that,
those
but
things.
still, it's just that's so disheartening. Sometimes, that you hear stuff like that. That's just bad. I've been, I mean, working. Honestly, I work for Walmart. It's a big company, and I've been at Walmart for like some years now, and I've learned a whole lot about it. But the one thing I have learned for sure is that you just work. You don't deal with the drama. You don't deal with what's going on. You do your job and you go home. You don't make it like it's your business, because at the end of the day, I'm getting a check from Walmart, but I don't own Walmart.
Right.
So I have some stocks or whatever in it, but like I said, at the end of the day, it's like I don't own that company. So I'm going in for my check and I'm leaving. Um, it it, it it does drive me crazy, the drama that I see. I'm a little bit older than some of the people up there, but there's so much drama. The stuff they fight over, to me, it's insanity. You're fighting over because there's a guy up there that you thought was cute or whatever, and he didn't talk to you at lunch or something trivial. And I'm like, you're about to lose your job. And I know some of you people have kids, and you're going to lose your job because of some boy that you don't even know. I don't get it. Where is the logic in that? The stuff that I see at that place, it just, I weep almost thinking about the next generation, because these kids are young. They're like, 18, 19, 20 or whatever, working in Walmart, and they tell me the story, and I see them, how they act. I'm like, do you think that you're going to get another job, that you can just burn out on each job you do, and then at the age that you are now, you're going to have to work, especially as you get older. If you don't have if you're not going to school, or you're going to have to work. And I said, you're going to burn your bridges everywhere, then what you going to do? Because people talk now. The internet is everything. People
Yes.
post stuff all the time. These kids don't get it. They don't get it, to me.
Yes, it's true. People are talking, people are spreading false information. You have instances in which people are at these companies and they can't get any advancement, qualified and can't get any advancement. But the little bum white comes in there and talks up to the manager, and they make him CEO overnight, and you're there 15, 20 years and you can't even get past supervisor. This guy I know of, his wife has been at Home Depot for over 12 years, and there was a top position that came up. They put a guy who had only been at the company for 1 year above her.
Oh my God.
Things like
That's
that.
horrible.
Massive disrespect. 1 year the guy had been at the company, and they put, you know what it is, on these companies, if they like you, whatever. But if they don't like you, to hell with you.
It's
That's
not
pretty
even.
much it.
It's not in Walmart. So I'm sorry, I mean, it's not even just that. At Walmart, the same way. If you are good at what you do, there was a lady that works where my store, I'm at a new store, and she worked over this department, and she is good at it. I mean, when I say good, no one has done it good as her for over 10 years. When she wanted to go to a different department, he was like, "Oh no, 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 I need you here." It was a selfish reason.
Mm.
And so she was like, "Well, I'm gonna, transfer out the store. I've already got the interviews, everything set up. Next thing I know, I hear, oh, never mind, I'm going to the department. I said, why? Well, I told him I was about to leave. When the
Right.
manager had a decision to make, either he was going to give me what I wanted, or I was going to take my skills and everything I do here to another store. And he couldn't stop me. He could try to stop me, but I can go over his head to transfer. And that makes sense to me. It's like, you as a company, you'll like try to be selfish and say, well, I want to move her to another department because she does so good in this department. I look so good when she does it. The store looks good. It's a selfish way of thinking in places like that. They're not gonna think about, well, she would be good over here. Maybe she's not happy in this department. Maybe she's got too old for it, or it's too hard, or whatever the reasons are. And they don't look at it that way. And that's how, I hate to say it. I won't say the name, but that's how most retail stores are. I worked at a few of them.
And the truth is that the person who wants to keep you there is incompetent. You mentioned a key term, so that he can look good. You need to stay in position so he can look good. Because without you, he's a piece of garbage. He can't look good.
Right.
I'm gonna say something. I'm listening, and my advice is always never worry about other people. Try your best to never worry about other people, and try your best never to assume their motivations. I mean, if you can predict it and you can analyze it, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but people, if you don't control the company, you're always going to be a pawn. So you can feel the way you feel, but as long as you work for somebody else, they have control.
Right.
So you got to always say, okay, I got to get into a situation where this won't bother me at all. And that's the way that you can stay positive, because people are going to be negative regardless. So there's always going to be people who want to have a power over you that will never give you the shine that you feel you deserve. So I'm always going to, if anybody ever asks me, I'm going to advise them, if you're unhappy with a place, make the sacrifice and leave if you can't, because I know sometimes we can't. Maybe you can take care of your children, maybe, whatever. You can't just walk away. But if you can walk away and you can get rid of whatever spoils you have to afford to be able to walk away, you should do that, because a lot of things are wants, they're not needs. And it's even me, I have to work on that sometimes, because I like to treat and altruistic in my brain, that sometimes it can limit me from getting to the position that I want to get, because I've been programmed to spend. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
What I can say on a positive note is that if you do have the misfortune of working with these people, it's important to be plotting. They're plotting, you're plotting. So you're working, you are looking for other opportunities, you're putting away whatever money you can, you are doing things on your own time to get money. And very, very important is to, if you can, see if you can save a minimum of 3 months living expense. And better yet, a year. If you can have that on reserve, you've put yourself in a powerful position, so that if you want to step, you can step.
Interesting. That's beautiful, actually. Because that's where working for a company like this is hard. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Charles.
No, that's cool. I'm just thinking this is so much stuff I want to add to a different hangout, because sometimes I get to add it now, but it's sometimes you just got to really delve into topics deeply, and I don't. I got to just stop, because if I keep going, I'm gonna be going for another 4 hours, and I'm getting hungry. It's time for me to end it so I can go eat.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go and get over here myself. I enjoyed this conversation. I hope we do it again. I hope I get to. I don't know the names of the young ladies, but I think Neon, but other young lady, because I would love to go on their panels, on your panels too, brother. Anybody. I enjoyed this so much today.
I'm going to send an invite to you for, this should be classic Ruby saying this, but if you have a chance, free tonight, BGS for Women is every Friday. It's called BGS for Women. And you like this, you would love that.
Well, tonight the discussion is going to be, hopefully we'll have a lot of honest women out there, but the discussion is going to be on weave. And why Black women insist on wearing it. Yeah.
Yes, I have lots, so I have a lot to say. I have natural hair, and I have lots. So yes, please.
I got to do a hangout on that. Viewers of you wanted me to do one about that too, so I was scheduled for sometime next week.
There you go. So it's tonight is 10:30 EST.
Are we?
Okay.
that
Am I
it
following?
starts.
Am I following you? I have to see because I really want to make sure I'm following the
I'll
two
send
of
you your
y'all.
name. I'll send you the
Oh,
links to them.
yeah, I was gonna say no. It's not on my channel. It's on BGS for Women.
I'll
So
Okay.
send you
Oh, okay. I'm
every
sorry.
Friday
Okay.
at
Lady C.
10:30 Eastern Standard Time, there's a women's hangout on
Mhm.
BGS for Women, and covers a variety of topics. It's it's hosted on BGS, BGS and more women's channel, but really the mastermind behind it is Shar Willie.
Okay.
And so, she does a lot, like it can be different topics. It could be open topics. Sometimes there's different guests that come on, males who come on and bring on their own topics, or we let men sometimes come in, so it's like, yeah, it's a really good hangout. It's for women, and we're hoping to, draw in obviously women who want to actually have intellectual conversation and conversation that's built to build our community up and build our women up. So
Oh yeah, that's a. Please send me an invite on that because
I
that
just sent
sounds
you. I'm
awesome.
sending you the page right now, an email, so you can get it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, y'all, I'm gonna go and get off of here myself. I'll talk to y'all next time. Y'all stay strong. Talk to you later.
yeah,
Okay.
great
Bye.
conversation. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet y'all as
Absolutely.
well. Bye bye.
Anybody got any closing words they want to say before I go? Anything you want to say, let it out.
I'm
Mhm.
pretty much all talked out. I would like to thank all of
Exactly.
you, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna get off.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm about the same.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you
was a
very
great
much, Charles.
Take care.
It's always a pleasure. I had fun. Thank you for anybody who came by. Shout out to everybody in the chat. It's nothing but love from me. And anybody, feel free. You can always join. Keep it civil. You can even get ratchet, but if you get too ratchet, you got to end it. And I appreciate you all. And I'm about to end it now. So thanks again, everybody. Much
All
love.
right. Thanks,
Bye.
Charles. It was a great
All right.
And
hangout.